The curious case of the controversial playwright is finally approaching its finale. And oh, what a long few weeks it's been, brimming with unnerving twists and ending in a bang. But dare I gamble on a smidgen of optimism among the chaos? I suppose I'll let you be the judge. Consider this my official report as the unofficial assistant of Detective Brina D. Madani. The stakeout of Warfred Bartosh's apartment was an unorthodox success. As one of the individuals on watch, you might know him as Luca, came down with a little case of being kidnapped. It was this incident that gave us plenty of reason to not only call in the guards, but break into the man's apartment all on our own. As a result, we managed to capture not one, but two culprits, both alive, I might add, a feat deserving of applause, seeing as, well, Luca was missing and the clock was ticking. I certainly wasn't in the mood to sit around twiddling my thumbs while Luca became the Snapdragon's next masterpiece, but Detective Brina Madani was, of course, quick to remind me that haste makes waste. A reckless approach would hinder rather than help our situation. But that's when my old trump card Gil appeared to turn the tides. They swooped in and kept Warfred busy, acting as an irresistible distraction, while the detective and I snuck our way into the tunnels under his apartment. It wasn't long before we found Luca, bound and unconscious, in a hidden cavern, and that is where I bow out of this tale and my friend N takes my place. Yes, Luca did have a hand in my creation, but N remains far more familiar and, dare I say, more comforting? Considering Luca's recent scrape with Dream Lily and death, I decided a comforting presence was likely more preferable. And Alonzo Reedfoot is decidedly not a comforting presence. Yes, N moved free Luca, and who should show up but the ugly fake facade of Edmund's pet Nothic, the man who once upon a time ripped N's mind apart. Needless to say, N and Alonzo's encounter was not an amicable one. It's a miracle they managed to exchange words at all. Alonzo's blathering nonsense about Edmund being chosen by some emissary, and that his decision to include N in the performance 5 years ago was a wise one. But what didn't add up was that some tyrant had yet to show us anything, had not offered us new power. Was it meant to have done so by now? Naturally, Alonzo was not very forthcoming, so N broke out an age-old persuasion trick. Kick his ass. Alonzo happened to comment on N's remarkable progress, and I must agree, he could barely land a hit on us. He never once broke into our mind, and even when he made the foolish mistake of attempting to end Brina's life, we saw to it that he didn't succeed. By the end of our little spat, he was tied up and left barely breathing in the dirt, his one good eye a smoldering mess in his skull. He won't be hurting anyone with that thing ever again. And that was how N rewrote the ending to their little horror novel. Now it was their turn to bore into Alonzo's thoughts and take everything from him. Seconds became hours as N delved, past the innocuous interest in Jaylee's art, past home, past the cogs, to something slumbering deep in the depths of Sharn. The creature at the core of the Snapdragons. Or rather, shall I call them by their real name? The beholders of true beauty. As much as I would love to spill all their dirty laundry right here and now, it's nothing but a kaleidoscope at the moment. A vast expanse of untamed knowledge simmering in the subconscious. Perhaps it's better digested in small bites, lest N's little head go pop, much like Alonzo's eyeball. All that is to say, a full report on the beholders of true beauty will have to wait for a later date. For now, we can rest easy knowing N has conquered the creature that once ruined them. But what of Warfred? I haven't mentioned him this entire time, yet wasn't he the kidnapper and prime suspect in Tarek's murder? I'm afraid for N, news of his movements came second-hand. It seems Alonzo was not the only horrifying eye monster to grace us with its presence that night. Warfred was donning some sort of living helm made of thick, fleshy tendrils and exposed bone, encrusted with what I can only imagine were stolen eyeballs. Now, I didn't see it myself, but the description alone was enough to make my skin crawl. Poor Detective Brina, though I believe Gil may have gotten the closest look. But perhaps more disturbing than the sight of it was its capabilities. For a fleeting moment, we witnessed the cavern transform into the auction hall. If that was merely a demonstration of Warfred's abilities to bend reality in his favor, yes, we were up against quite the foe. From what I hear, he even struck down Luca for a moment. Fortunately, Gil arrived on the scene in time to pull Luca back to his feet, then annoy Warfred long enough to for help to arrive. And so, we emerged victorious. Warfred the murderer and Alonzo the Nothic were taken into the Port Authority's custody, and we found ourselves in possession of a roaring success. But stay the curtain and hold the confetti, we can't call this case closed yet. There are still loose ends to tie up. Warfred and Alonzo's ultimate fates, for example. But for now, a moment to lick our wounds and give our weary backs a much-needed pat. Audrey Whistler, signing off.
Thank you.
Miss Audrey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
After a night of terror and strain, our heroes have managed to catch their breath and get some sleep. For whatever amount of sleep they can get.
Yeah, well, N is out.
Yeah.
And didn't sleep the night before, barely got sleep before the whole incident, and exhausted themselves in that battle, so they are out of juice. The battery is depleted. Yeah. Face down in their bed.
Oh. Well, and Luca, how do you guys sleep?
I imagine Willow struggles to get sleep the night before, and it's that kind of blink and it's morning sort of sleep, where it's like finally they drift off and they open their eyes and hours have passed. Mm-hmm. Definitely not their usual wake up time, which is like dawn, but like not dawn, but like, you know, at least around 7. Yeah, but not late in the afternoon either. They'll probably wake up before N. I don't know about Luca.
Well, I think Luca sleeps pretty average. He's used to sleeping in rough conditions and in rough emotional states, so he has training to sleep in bad circumstances. So I think he gets to sleep pretty easy and then wakes up not later than normal. Maybe a few minutes, but like still pretty on time.
Minutes.
Yeah. Any dreams, Luca? Or
I would prefer if I didn't.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. You wake up early, as is your usual. What do you do, Luca? The other two are still fast asleep.
I think I would take another shower in the morning to like wash away the feeling of not great sleep, but you know, sleep is sleep. And then organize some breakfast for everyone. Eat pretty quickly, and then I think I'd like to go to see a doctor. Get my wounds tended to, and mainly just have my head checked. And then that probably takes some time. But after that, I will probably go to the Bloodful Church. What's it called? Church.
Temple.
Temple, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you. And spend most of my day there.
Okay. And you leave a note for the others telling them where you've gone. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. That is like propped up neatly on a pile of breakfast.
Okay. So by going to a doctor, do you mean like going to a typical hospital doctor, or?
Yeah, probably. Just to have my wounds dressed or cleaned or healed, whatever. And like, I don't know, voluntary, what is it, MRI on my brain. Do they have those?
So they can detect for poison and disease. I don't know if there is a there is that.
Well, like, is there a way of saying, "Oh, you have more brain damage than you did yesterday"?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I imagine them doing the, like shining a torch in your eyes, making sure you're responsive, seeing your reflex, like all of that kind of stuff to check your your brain activity is like in order. I imagine Luca doing that kind of check, especially because we did leave a potion there for you for like any like magical wounds that could be healed, but I'm sure you need a bit more. You got stabbed and stuff.
Well, I wouldn't have taken the potion. I would have left it for everyone else.
Oh, and it was left there for you, but okay.
Well, I didn't know that, so.
I keep forgetting you have to spell things out.
You have to leave a note for Luca. Post-it notes on everything for Luca.
Yeah. But you did heal yourself too, so I wasn't sure.
Well, yeah, we had a rest and my wounds were dressed and
you're feeling the best and you got big pun.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get a checkup. Aside from sort of a lingering hangover feeling, lingering aches and pains from your wounds, you're probably fine. Okay. How much money do you have?
On me?
Yes.
Like 10 platinum, 65 gold.
Okay. I would like to I would like to charge you 5 gold for a walk-in.
Okay. And then I'm going to charge Brina for that, because that's a work expense.
Yes. Get that receipt.
Yep. Oh, I'm going to make a note. Brina owes me $5 for medical expenses.
You stabbed her yesterday.
She said it's fine.
Okay.
So after getting looked at, you head to the Blood-Evolved Temple. It's still early morning. A little bit later now that you've been to the doctor, but there's no service ongoing at the moment, but the temple is still open to you. And Seeker Torg is present, if you would like to talk to him.
I think I'll make like small talk and ask probably about Seeker Islay.
Seeker Torg is glad to see you. He tells you that Islay is not in the temple at the moment. They are doing their penance by serving a sentence of labor as a healer aboard a ship for a year. And the money from that will be given to the families of those lost in the attack.
Oh, that's much better than what I was expecting. Yeah.
What were you expecting?
Like prison and hard labor, but maybe that's my past experience. Coloring my perspective, maybe?
Well, labor aboard a ship is not easy, I will say.
That is true. But it's helping people. That's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Are you doing all right? You seem troubled.
Let's say no, but it's not something that can be addressed yet. There's still some stuff that needs doing before healing can take place.
I see.
Thank you.
Of course. You are welcome here anytime.
I think Luca might pick a corner and just sit and think and write and quote unquote pray, but not what we think of when we think of praying.
Like meditation, I feel like.
Yeah.
More.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Like introspection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely the sort of prayer, quote unquote, that happens in the Blood of Vol is much more about meditating.
Mm.
And mindfulness. So yeah.
Yeah.
It is nice and
quiet day at the temple.
quiet and calm. Secret Tour comes and checks on you now and then, offers you water if you need it.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. But otherwise it's relatively calm and peaceful, and you can find an alcove or a bench to sit on and just be still for a while.
Yes.
So we'll leave you there.
Yeah.
Hello, I think you're probably the next to wake up.
Yeah. What did you say? Luca got breakfast. Did he leave a note?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What does the note
Willow's-
say?
It says, Willow and N, I am going to the doctor's because my brain might be a little more broken than usual. Laughing face. Make sure you eat and rest. I will probably be back late. Smiley face. Luca.
2 smiley faces, 1 letter.
Yes.
2 smiley faces and 1 note.
That's a red
He's
flag.
going through it. Yeah. I do imagine actually that Willow wakes up. It's that kind of blink awake that I mentioned, and then there's like only a second of peace, maybe even not a second of peace before they remember. I have a symbiont helm in my pocket that is holding Tarek Elham's eyes and possibly one of Kelson's, or at least one of the exhausted. Like, when they turned into blood, do they explode or do they settle back into the helmet?
They're basically useless.
But dude, are they still in there, like as a part of the mass? Or do they like, explode in his hand magically?
They're like popped.
Oh,
delicious.
But there's obviously still something left behind when you pop a balloon.
Oh, okay, thanks. These are the kinds of thoughts that Willow is like first thing in the morning. They're like, that kind of thought is in my pocket, as well as the image of like Wolfred's head peeling off, basically, like the top of his skull peeling off, and Willow's just like, whoa, all of that comes back, not to mention how that relates to them. So they're going to try and like force themselves to notice things in the room and ground themselves in the room, including and asleep, which is good.
Yep.
And
breakfast.
The note from Luca, breakfast, which is nice. Their appetite is at risk of being ruined by these thoughts. Yes. So they're going to force themselves to eat, like, pretty much as a necessity.
Yeah.
But, like, it's like a...
no thinking, only toast.
Yeah. Literally, like, I am not looking at jam, I am not looking at grapes, I am not looking at anything. Luca
I think it would have been the kind of meal that's, like, easy to eat physically.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
whatever
like
it is.
Some sliced apples and...
Yeah. Willow's just going for the bread basket.
Literally a basket of fruit.
Nice. Well, that's good, because I can last all day. Willow's gonna just, They don't really want to gather their thoughts, honestly, but there's nothing else to do with them.
Yeah.
But gather the thoughts. They don't feel too bad after yesterday. Like, physically, because... I guess they might have a headache.
Yeah, you feel a bit groggy and tired, but like nothing that can't be fixed by just resting a normal amount or getting some fresh air, you know?
Yeah, they'll have some water. They'll probably open a window to let like air it out in here. I'm sure they can't not smell. Like they don't literally smell what yesterday smelled like, but it's like lingering. On them. They can't tell if it's just in their mind or if it's emanating out of their pocket, if they're feeling very paranoid about it.
Yeah.
And they're not going to do anything about that until N wakes up. And they don't really want to go anywhere either, though. they do have it in their mind that they will need to think about the thing in their pocket.
Yeah. Let's roll for weather.
Oh, good.
I hope it's sunny.
Clear, moderate temperature, and a light breeze, so you can see little wispy clouds scudding overhead when you look out at the sky.
Yeah, I think Willow's just going to stand at the open window while they kind of collect their thoughts in the morning about what to do next.
Fresh sea breeze, sounds of the city, as usual, filtering in.
Business as usual, despite the
Cars.
incomprehensible thing that we just saw last night. And again, the thing in my pocket. Ugh.
But at least you can watch the clouds and listen to the sounds of people blissfully unaware of cars just going about their daily lives.
Yeah, that's really...
To sort of keep the terrors at bay until N wakes up, at least.
Yeah.
So, N, when do you wake up?
Good question. N doesn't really sleep in very often. It's not really their style, so I can imagine they wake up a little before noon, maybe?
Yeah. So, like, 10, 11-ish.
Yeah.
I think Willow probably slept in until, like, 9.
Yeah.
Which is late for them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is probably a little late for N, too.
Yeah.
We both kind of burn the candle on both ends sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yay! Yeah, so N will start to stir around 10 or 11. Rag themselves upright, bleary, and their head kind of hurts.
Yeah. The room is quite bright since Willow has the window open.
Yeah. Imagine N, like, feeling the headache as they come to and groaning and pulling the blankets over their head and rolling over a bit.
I imagine Willow probably
pain.
Didn't notice. Sorry. I imagine Willow had the curtain open but didn't realize. You know when like a beam shines directly onto a person?
Yeah.
Willow's like, oops, and then like closes it slightly.
Yeah, just to get the sun directly out of your eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So once they're not being accosted by a beam of sunlight and will pry themselves out of from under the blankets and probably immediately go and wash themselves up because they did do that last night and they really needed to, but they were too exhausted. So now that they have some semblance of energy, they'll probably like wave at Willow to acknowledge Willow's presence on their way into the bathroom and then just huck themselves into a shower.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I imagine Willow would have kept the room dark enough for you, as an aside, but I imagine the sun moves on its own volition. I'm just standing there like fiddling with the broken fin of Fish Dog. I imagine Willow's kind of just rolling that around in their hand.
Yeah.
And not saying much.
Yeah.
Courteous wave, though.
Once N finishes washing themselves up and getting themselves all dressed up and ready for the day, they are going to come out, and I think they're immediately going to insight check Willow. Just give Willow a little up and down. But they're still exhausted.
Hey, you don't you have points of exhaustion?
No, the point of exhaustion ends after.
Sorry, I'm so used to taking like 3 points of exhaustion.
Yeah. I slept. I actually slept, so my exhaustion is gone.
Right, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I rolled a 5 though, so like, I mean, you could roll lower if you want to give it a shot.
What am I rolling?
Persuasion or deception, I
assume. Disgrace.
You're
fine.
Good.
I'm not fine, but I think Willow just looks thoughtful.
Yeah.
That's the main look you see.
Yeah.
Bit absent-minded, but fine.
Any plans for today? And as they're going back to the bed and pulling out scraps of paper, looks like they're gonna write some things down.
Yes, I suppose just organizing my thoughts. Some last-minute study. I don't imagine Detective Brina will be available today.
No. She seemed pretty beat up at the end there, so probably best if we let her get a bit of rest.
And starts jotting some things down. If it's all the same to you, I think I'm gonna go for a walk. Some air. And tired.
It was a cursory, it was a cursory glance anyway, just to see, is that a walk to go and do anything illicit, or is it just a normal walk? And I feel like the second Willow starts thinking about what's N doing with their day, their like brain is like, stop! And they're like, never mind.
You want me to pick you up anything while I'm out?
No, I think Luca covered it.
Yeah, I see that. And gestures to what remains of the breakfast that Luca had delivered to the room. And that kind of, then it occurs to them, like, oh yeah, I haven't eaten yet, so they'll grab something from that, toss it in their mouth, start packing up to go.
Get some fresh air.
Yeah. Don't be alarmed if I'm not back for a while. But if you need anything, just step outside the Gold Dragon and scream, and I'll come running.
Willow gives a little smile and goes, sure.
And gives a thumbs up. And little salute as they head out the door.
Yep.
The smile doesn't last long when you close the door, I feel.
Yeah.
Where are you headed, Anne? Where are you going for a walk?
So many places. First of all, I think En's going to swing by the hospital, since that's where Luca said he was going in his note. And En's just gonna go over there and make sure everything seems cool around the hospital between Luca and Tarek having swung by there. And En's just feeling a little bit, like, tense.
Yeah. Make a perception check.
Well. Well then.
Nice.
The fresh air's done me some good.
Yes. You're very alert. Which is...
Yep. I am prowling a bit,
miraculous.
But truly, I'm just shoving the headache into the back of my brain, like, we'll deal with you later.
Yeah.
That's crazy, by the way.
Luca is obviously not here anymore. It has been several hours since then.
Mm-hmm.
But nothing too chaotic seems to be happening at the hospital. There seems to be still, like, a few hangers-on from when, like, it was announced that Tarek Elham was being kept here awaiting resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's still a few people, like, lollygagging and trying to ask questions, but it's calmed down significantly.
And there's no one around that I recognize, just...
I think, like, you maybe see a reporter or two that you didn't necessarily talk to, but you recognize their face.
All right.
You have a good memory for faces, so it's just like, oh, I've seen this person before.
Right.
But it's just, like, hanging around, trying to see if there's any news. There isn't really, and, like...
There is news, but you don't know about it.
Yeah. There's no news from the hospital, at least.
Well, that's good. No news from the hospital. Nothing's exploded.
Yeah. I think you see that there's a few more Port Authority guards, like, keeping the peace at the door of the hospital so that people who are actually going there to get treated aren't being bothered.
Yeah, makes sense.
And also that, like, people aren't coming in faking an illness to be like, so, what do you know about the...
Yeah.
You know about the playwright? Yeah.
It's just like, stop that.
Cool.
People need to do work here.
Yeah, there are people with real injuries.
Yeah.
I think while they're kind of lingering and doing a round or the premises of the hospital, they might try to dip into that headache just slightly, because it occurs to them, like, maybe Alonzo knew why Edmund was after the Folly. Can I figure that out from what I siphoned off of him?
Okay, make a straight intelligence check.
Okay.
Nothing.
No good.
No, you try and, like, parse the information, but it's like seeing a wall of text with no
I imagine
formatting whatsoever,
and gets a
like,
headache again.
It's just like, I can't read any of this at all.
Yeah, this sign can't stop me. I don't know how to read it. And
So just like, nah,
it's literally
bit of a dead end.
Been less than 24 hours since I did that, so yeah, the tracks then just kind of rubs at their temples, but they're now pulsing with the headache again. Yeah. And they'll move on from the hospital. Next up, they want to swing by Holding to make sure that place hasn't exploded while they were asleep.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you head to the Hall of the Port Authority, make another perception check.
Headache is lingering.
Seems completely normal on the surface, but you know Holding is, like, deeper in, and if anything, like, too chaotic was happening, like,
yeah,
the alarms would be raised, but as far as you can tell, everything is normal on the surface. No signs of jailbreak, or the building hasn't exploded.
Yeah, cool. Well, that's all I need to know, I suppose. All right. Yeah, with that out of the way, En's got a couple letters to drop off around town. One of those is at the Madani office. They have a letter to drop off, probably to Celia. I imagine she might still be, running the office.
Yeah, Celia is still in the office.
Yeah, so En's gonna drop off a note for Brina with Celia, basically request to intercept Alonzo's mail, because En still remembers Alonzo saying he reported to Edmund, and En's wondering if we can cut that off for any other communications that Alonzo was attempting before he was, revealed to be a Nothic. Also, En's interest in Alonzo's belongings in general, and request to be involved in any proceedings with Alonzo going forward, and we'll just leave that with Celia for Brina for whenever Brina's back in action.
Yeah.
And they'll drop another letter off to Jaylee. Not personally, just a letter.
Just send it to the post office. Spend like 2 copper pieces on a stamp.
Cool. Yeah, and that one's basically telling her not to expect a follow-up appointment with Alonzo, and to not be surprised if, she hears silence from both Alonzo and me for a little while, but she can still send a letter if anything comes up, and I'll be in touch, and, don't worry about me. It's okay. I'm okay.
Just letting you know.
Yeah.
Just a heads up.
Yeah, don't worry. Everything's fine. And
the sky is changing at this moment.
Looks
like it might rain soon.
Well, it's been a little while since they tried to tap into those thoughts again, and since they're doing a long walk for the day, I think En's just gonna, again, just try to muse about Alonzo and anything they can, like, idly maybe pull up about him, his history with Edmund, or being a Nothic, or any of his history.
Okay, make an Arcana check.
Oof.
Again, you try and sift through the information, but there's just too much of it. It's like trying to catch like a thimbleful of water from a waterfall. It just everything floods in, and the cup is basically empty as soon as you pull it back out, just because of the sheer force of information.
Yeah, and I imagine the headache just kind of keeps relapsing whenever En tries to delve into their thoughts. Just ends up throbbing again. So they'll just stop trying to be impatient about it. And try and just get some air and clear their head. And maybe stop by a bakery and get some cookies.
Yeah. That is more than fair.
Yeah. Get a whole bag of cookies. I need this. Yeah. You don't understand how badly I need this.
Oh my
god. How much cookie do you want? 5 copper pieces, a silver?
I want enough for me and my friends.
Okay, so a silver piece worth of cookies.
Yeah, I think so, since En's gonna have half, and then the other half will be for Luca.
You buy an entire sheet tray of cookies.
Yeah. They start tonging them into a paper bag, and En's like, no, you don't understand.
That whole tray.
Yeah, just dump it.
Oh.
And with like their little chin on the counter because their head's hurting and they're just so tired.
Oh my god.
Hit me.
Yeah.
But it's at the bakery.
Yeah, exactly.
I am self-medicating with cookies.
I'm gonna buy a muffin.
One of the better choices.
I'm gonna buy a muffin for myself as well, just to eat on top of the cookies while I walk.
Okay. Spend 1 silver, 5 copper.
I need this.
Skip it. Just get a cake, why don't you?
A cake's too hard to carry around.
Yeah.
Eat it with your knife as you walk around like you do with meat pies.
If I was getting a cake, I'd bring it home.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yep, and I think with their snacks in tow, En's just gonna go
Yeah.
for a long walk. If it starts to rain, they'll find somewhere to sit, but otherwise...
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. We'll cut away from En as the summer rain washes over Regalport in the early afternoon, pattering down on the umbrella held by an outstretched arm as Captain Meraldine Frostroot steps down on the cobbled streets outside the Hall of the Port Authority. Clack, 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 her heels on the stone, outpacing her entourage as she hones in on the slouched figure of Brina Dimadani, half propped up on a bench. Brina barely has time to get a greeting out before Meraldine cuts to the point. "What's this I hear about our perpetrators being arrested in the middle of the night, Detective?" Brina says, well, yeah, it kind of happened all of a sudden." The detective explains the events in short: the kidnapping, the distraction, the rescue mission interrupted by horrifying flash monsters. "I'm sorry for not getting word to you sooner, but I didn't really have my wits about me after that fight." Meraldine gives her a once-over with her eye. Rena does look pretty disheveled. "Regardless, you'll be pleased to know that the guard have Mr. Bartosz in custody, and we have more than enough evidence to take him to court." Captain Meraldine gives a tight smile, a predatory glint in her eye. "Well then, a duel in court will have to be good enough for me, won't it? A pity I couldn't catch the bastard red-handed myself. I suppose I'll simply have to rake him over the coals of the law in front of all of Regalport, and ring him for every coin he has. Yeah, I'm sure the prosecution would be happy to talk to you about that. Better go get alert Mr. Bartosh's lawyer. I'll be off then. Have a good day, Captain. And we see Brina saunter off, pulling her jacket a bit over her head. She walks out into the rainy city. We cut back to Willow. You have...
Imagine that shot of the rainy city comes back through the window. Nice.
Yeah.
Willow's noticed it's raining. Well, is it a sunny kind of rain?
It's like it's a passing rain. It'll be over in like half an hour.
I think it's incentive enough. Willow's been delaying long enough. I think they haven't looked at it by the sunlight yet. They don't want to look at it by the sunlight, but something about they should. So I imagine they're going to start clearing like some of the food away, like clear a point on the desk.
Yeah.
Keep the food well away. Probably lay something out.
There's a table for eating on, and then there's a desk for writing on.
The desk. Yeah. I just kind of imagine Luca bought enough food to spread the to spend. But yeah, making sure that everything's cleared away. Lay out something like a little mat, their usual working mat. And then before they lose their wits, they would like to bring out the helmet.
You bring
Their
it out.
stomach's like turning all the while. Yeah. Very careful to make sure they're holding it probably at the nose part where it doesn't seem like any of the eyes would be.
Yeah.
On the skeleton part that they remember.
Yeah. You grab it by the nose guard. It is cold to the touch now. Room temperature.
Was it warm when I first touched it? With blood?
Yeah.
Wolfred's blood or its own warmth?
Hard to say. It was on his head. You know how, like,
a hat
jewelry that people have been wearing get warm from their skin? That sort of thing.
But it's not emanating its own warmth now?
No.
Okay, so I can assume that was... Cool, great. Well, I imagine Willow sits with it and just, like, forces themselves to look at it. What is it? What do they see?
It appears to be a metal helm with a nose guard, stained a sort of a silvery red, like a metallic red with sort of silver white accents. What appears to be like these little inlaid glass-like eyes almost, and like there is again it is sculpted in such a way that it looks quite fleshy. It looks like viscera, but to the touch it feels like metal at this point. The eyes do not move in this state. It is inanimate.
Is there like gore in the helmet from where it was attached to Wolfred's head? Like, what does the internal part look like? Or does it carry like?
It might be a little bit blood-stained, but otherwise it looks like smooth metal. There are probably ridges on the inside, like you would expect from working, or perhaps like looking at the underside of an isopod or a beetle or something like that.
Okay, I think Willow's turned it around. They're thinking too. So they did an identify spell, and I got a lot of information from that.
Yes.
Including what spells it's capable of, and like the sort of parameters, how it works.
Yes.
Including the fact that the helmet can't be taken off willingly by the person that put it on their head?
Yeah.
So
unless they are targeted by something that would end a curse.
Yeah, so arguably then this was targeted by something. Can I do an Arcana check to see what the spell it might have been that it was targeted by?
Sure.
Willow's going to assume at this stage that it was Alonzo because he would be the only one there that has that spell and a means to use it. Yeah.
Make an Arcana check.
Done.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so the thing that happened right before the helm ejected itself off Warford's head is that the Nothic screamed in what you think was some kind of alien language or something, and either something about that scream or it was a spell or something basically like called to the helm to flee. So yeah.
Huh.
It wasn't a spell necessarily. It was some sort of inherent ability of the Nothic itself.
Cool. I was about to say an innate skill then.
Yeah.
Like, that's cool because I've been talking about that a lot with Damon, but
yeah.
It ended up relevant in a... All information is relevant because it doesn't always apply to what you're learning. Could apply to other things. Like Alonzo.
Yep.
Is it Nothic? Yep. Was it Nothic? Was the Nothic? Anyway, putting that out of mind, Willie still has to analyze this. They're going to look now at the eyes. This part. I imagine they turn the helmet so that they can look at the eyes. And there is like a solid few seconds of them looking before they are like overwhelmed by... They've been trying to fight off the feeling of this making them feel sick. While looking at it. I don't know if they're going to last while looking directly at what they know are Tarek Elham's eyes embedded in this like jewels.
Make your choice of Constitution or Wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom, because Willow's been assailed by the images of him, eyeless at the bathroom sink for pretty much every day since this mystery started.
Yeah, you try and look directly at the remaining eyes embedded on the helm. They are the exact same color as Tarek's eyes. They are Tarek's eyes, and you just feel sick.
Yeah, I imagine Willow goes from sitting rather close to it to actually, like, just sort of immediately launching out of their chair and walking back to the window.
Yeah.
Just, like, getting air. I feel like they're gonna be sick. The entire image, like the gory image of not only... Was this helm probably responsible for the gash in his stomach, but also it took his eyes... presumably would have hung him up on that thing. It had the power to.
Yeah.
Just like all of the pieces of the case coming back together, and the big question about Wolfred. But Willow's going to try and compose themselves, but they're going to probably need a minute.
Yeah.
Before they pocket it again. They're not going to do very well searching for it, but they know someone who will, possibly. Can I cut straight to Damon's? Yeah. Imagine there's a very quick cut from pocketing it, out of mind, knock knock on Damon's door.
Yeah, Damon lets you in, and let's do a quick insight check. Can you roll to contest?
Willow's not wearing their mask, and they are standing a bit at bay at the door.
That's perception.
Oh?
I'll
roll a perception check too for what is happening. You know what?
Well,
actually, I feel like when Willow walks out of their room, they are overwhelmed by a surprising feeling that they don't usually have, where the hallways feel very long on both ends and all of the doors feel like threats. They're not used to that feeling. They're going to do a perception check of feeling unsafe.
Yeah. I think at most you see somebody with a laundry basket moving around.
Oh, your namesake.
Thanks, Rob. All right.
So you feel better now?
No.
Yeah. Okay. Damon looks at you and says, "Well, you look like you got some sleep at least." Lets you in.
Willow kind of stands at the door like it's going to be quick.
Oh, okay.
And they're not
when you don't walk in, I think.
Face.
Okay, when you don't walk in, Damon says, "Can I get you anything?"
No. Well, maybe. Actually, I was just wondering if you had any, maybe books or knowledge about the, a Helm of Phantasmagoria, I believe it is.
This is a very difficult Arcana check, so let's see if Damon makes it. Doesn't ring a bell. What kind of make is it?
Symbiont Helm.
Right. Don't have anything extensive on that, but he sort of walks deeper into his room and sort of leafs through what books he does have. He pulls out a thin tome that's just like it's really more of like a bound essay on symbionts. This is kind of the bare bones basics. Sorry, I don't have that much better.
No, that's fine. In terms of what comes next, would you happen to know anybody that has a specialization in this field for maybe working with analyzing these kinds of retrieving parts, perhaps from this sort of equipment?
I can reach out to some contacts of mine via post, but for retrieving parts, well, I have He turns around and grabs a considerably thicker tome. I have this, at least. Don't know how much help it'll be. It is a book on the crafting and disassembly of pre-Galifar magic items.
Oh. Willow doesn't say, "Oh, that was meant," in Willow's voice by accident. Willow perks a little bit at the sight of it. They sort of look up at him, but it's like they're trying to avoid looking at his face. Mm-hmm. They'll nod. Could I borrow that briefly?
Sure.
Please, thank you.
Hands that over.
We will likely be going to Brinas tomorrow if you have any extra information, or I assume that you want to stay out of the impending limelight of all of this, so I'm
He nods. Take care.
You as well. Willow's sort of nods and then like quickly scampers back to their room.
Yeah.
They were sort of seconds away from being like, I have Talaric Elham's eyes in my pocket in a helmet, but they're not doing that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they didn't really want to look at his.
Yeah.
his matching golden eyes either, did they? So they
No.
Yeah, heading back to their room to have a awful little read.
Yeah. So, the basics of it's. Which one do you do first? The basics of symbionts or the old magic items book?
Basics. Try and anchor myself in a logic first.
Okay, so the basics of symbionts, they are believed to have first appeared during the Dalkur invasion of the old Dakani Empire. They are likely crafted by aberrations or Dalkur themselves. And there's like some descriptions of like some common and uncommon types of symbionts. So there's stuff like tentacle whip or earworms.
Ugh.
That sort of thing, or living gloves. Again, they all seem to follow the same sort of rules of like being flesh crafted. They all appear to be made of like very organic substances. So instead of metal, it'll be like chitin, which is what you realize now. That's what the helm is made out of. It's not just like this flesh-looking metal. It is like flesh and chitin.
How do you spell chitin?
Chitin. It is the substance that beetle shells and stuff are made.
Oh, right, that makes sense. Oh, just googled it. Bad idea.
It's bugs.
It's bugs, yes. Yeah, I think in my mind I've always been like, chitin! That's chitins, right? So yeah.
Yeah. It's...
Alright, cool.
It's CHI, like the Greek Kai.
Yeah, makes sense. Kai. Haven't seen him in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, gross. But it's good to get a baseline principle on how these things are made and why.
Mm-hmm. Nobody has been able to recreate them, per se. Those are mysteries yet unsolved.
So it's likely that Wolfred found this.
Mm-hmm.
Or was given it, or inherited it. Not quite entirely sure.
Yeah. Either way, not made by mortal hands, let's say.
Yeah. And the whole thing in Moral Holds was that they were like dug up, yeah?
Yeah,
found there,
basically.
Because they're a mining culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there's older, deeper tunnels underneath the Moral Holds that are called the Realm Below, which some people believe is like entrances to Kyber, or parts of Kyber that have like been geologically shifted upwards.
Yeah.
That dwarves have dug into or had access to. And that is generally where they are found.
Okay. And deconstructing them?
There's nothing on deconstruction of symbionts in this book. It's just the bare basics.
Oh, I meant the other one.
The other book, which is more generally speaking about old magic items, specifically pre-Galifar magic items, like the stuff of basically like stories and legends, where it's like, unlike today's mass-produced magic items, which are much more easily breakable. I mean, you've made your kind of entire career on making and breaking those kinds of things.
Yep.
old magic items tend to be much more sturdy and survivable, but they took way longer and were more expensive to produce compared to the modern magical item. The trade-off is basically expense versus maintenance, and the level of skill required to produce one versus like the resources required to produce many.
Mm-hmm.
So it is much like in the real world, like it takes way more time and energy and material to produce a masterwork type of piece or craft than it does to produce basically industrialized magic items.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. Give me an Arcana check for the disassembly book to see what you can learn. It looks like disassembling any kind of old magic item is very difficult. There is more likely chance than not of just completely breaking it than being able to break it down into its component parts. There is often the situation where, like, if a fabled magic item or like an old magic item loses its magic, it will just fully crumble and lose all magical viability. Which has happened in like the case of overusing an item. Like, there's plenty of stories of like, okay, this thing once per day can do this spell without costing a spell slot or energy or whatever, and if you use it too much, it will lose its magic and just crumble into dust. But it does look like there are people who have made a study of, or like are experts in breaking these kinds of things down. It's just not something that you're necessarily confident that you would be able to figure out yourself. Certainly not in this short amount of time, and not without extensive research and resources.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
But it is not impossible.
Yeah. Willow just wants to know where to... If it's within their scope, then they will... They're still not at the stage where they're like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, it's not like that. They're probably thinking... They're thinking things like, does Warfred know? He's still alive. If not, maybe Brina could contact someone that would know. I'm sure Miraldine would spare no expense as well. Not that she has much left, but like promise of expense to factor this in to what happens next, as long as Tarek's eyes are removed from it before it's taken in as evidence, full and proper. It is evidence with the eyes in it, but like it can't be treated as evidence solely. It has to also be treated like a semi-living preserver of Tarek Elam's eyes if he is to be brought back, or even if not, principal.
Yeah.
This is exhausting. I think Willow just, after brute forcing all that, is gonna just like plop back on the bed and think.
Yeah. Is the helmet still out on the desk?
No. They put it back in their pocket.
Right. Okay.
Should I be looking at it again? I can look at it.
No, just asking.
Yeah. No. Willow doesn't want it just sitting there, emanating malice.
Yeah.
With its eyeballs.
Yep.
Oh, so unfortunate. Now they're musing about Orfred. Why the hell would you put that on your head?
Who could say?
He can.
I think at this point, Anne and Luca have returned from their days out.
Who do you think returns first?
Maybe Anne.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be the case.
Yeah.
And we'll return back with smelling of cookies.
That's nice. Better than the smell of chitin, was it?
Mm-hmm. Beetle.
Beetle.
I said meetle.
Oh. Well, beetle too.
Both
Yes.
are correct in this instance, I suppose.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah. And arrives with cookies.
And I was with a bag of cookies, and I think they're immediately going to come in and look at Willow. I mean, at first I'm going to try this again. Absolutely not. Look at Willow. But you know why that happens? They look at Willow, they say catch, and they're going to throw the bag of cookies at you.
Oh my gosh!
Make a dexterity saving throw.
I actually imagined Willow had a book on their face too after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, they probably lowered it just in time for you to come in and throw cookies at me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You fumble the bag, but it lands on
It's
the bag
closed.
at
It's
least.
sealed.
Yeah. You mostly catch it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Hope
Nice
it-
try.
I wish it flew out the window.
I rolled the
You know
nat
the
one,
book,
not
like-
you.
Yeah. Clips the top of your hands and like. But no.
I came in, I didn't see the book. I just saw you, and like, I'm gonna be a problem.
Hurls cookies at you. Alright, thank you. Willow sits up looking vaguely shitted off in a friendly way.
Yeah.
And then notices it's cookies, opens the bag, and inhales it like, oh yes, this smells nice. Yeah.
And gives a little smirk, like, yeah, I knew you'd forgive me. Well, Luca can come home as well.
He'll knock on the door because he's polite.
Your friends let you in.
Who is it?
The police.
We have-
Open up.
Get the fuck out of here, Willow.
Throws Willow out the window.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and,
Willow's tucked aside all the symbiont books to give to Damon later and just sort of keep it out of mind while
Yeah.
you guys are here. And I'm thinking of cookies.
yep, and we'll also show Luca the cookies.
Oh.
Willow will hold them out to him. And brought us cookies and crashed them on my head.
Oh.
It's tradition in Sharn.
Oh. Okay.
And back to writing in their book as they say that.
I'm gonna insight check Luca.
Yeah, I am too.
Yo.
Oh my god.
Better than I have been doing.
Let's see. Do I have the Riz?
No.
Restless
Wow.
behavior.
He seems tired inside, but he is pleased about at least one thing, but he's tired inside.
Yeah.
And it's not clear if it's from the day prior or the day today. Like, sequestering himself and meditating all day has left him spent.
Yeah.
Yeah. And might ask about how it went at the hospital. You know, just like, you good?
God, how did it go at the hospital?
It went fine.
Willow's-
You're going to get a scar. You have a new wound
Yeah.
that will scar.
I'll lift my shirt and show them.
Getting quite a
is
collection
it?
there.
It's like it's a line running parallel to his rib cage, so you like see the underside of his bust.
That'd be important detail.
Kind of enjoy it. Yeah, Willow's like, Willow remembers the distinct moment you got that one. Because Wolfred was trying to hang it over my head.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucas, really.
Yeah.
The whole spike
Yes,
just
Luca was.
dangling over Luca's sanctuary.
Willa eats a whole cookie, one mouthful. They will shake the bag at Luca until he takes one.
He will take one.
Okay, good.
What do the two of you get up to today?
Just a walk. Clear my head.
Reading,
Getting cookies.
eating.
Sounds like you had a good day. Oh, you are tired inside.
Yes.
Bro, double that one.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I'm good at that.
Luca
flying
way.
out the window?
Not that bad.
Little
Yeah.
bit.
I think, Luca, you just you take their word at face value, especially because everybody's, like, tired. Nobody's gotten up to anything wild.
Yeah.
It's kind of a, like, day.
Yeah. Everyone's a little fucked up, so I can't really expect anything more.
Yeah.
It's enough.
At least no one's in trouble.
Nothing
Yeah.
has gotten worse.
Nope.
This might be the first time that's happened in the past month. A
Yeah.
day when nothing has gotten
Yeah.
worse.
We all get back together at the end of the day, and nothing has gotten worse. And hasn't come home with, hey, I got a letter from Alonzo, essentially, or other such problems.
Yeah. As troubling as my research is, it is useful. I know kind of where to direct my next questions.
Yeah.
Your days were uneventful?
Yep.
Nods.
Good.
You guys do anything else before we close the day and head on to the next one?
Do I have... I was just going to say, do I have the books that Varys was reading? Did I keep any? Can I say that I grabbed one from somewhere? I just think it'd be fun to read some fiction this evening after all the awful, horrible things I was looking at.
I think you had, like, borrowed one, and you had started it.
Yeah, like at the Poppy,
Lovely.
I think I started reading it.
Yeah.
Maybe I pocketed it.
Yeah, you borrowed it.
Hey, I'll give it back. Varys has the brand new ones, the whole box set, if you want us to get it off them. But yeah, no, I think Willow, like, that kind of book is what I imagined Willow, like, winding down with for the rest of the evening, of just, like, I've read such atrocities.
Yes.
Can you read
There's
to
a
me?
book about research. Did Luca ask that out loud with his big boy mouth?
Well, no. Maybe. Maybe?
Actually, your integrity hangs on this answer.
I don't think he would have said it like that. He might have said, do you
Okay.
feel like reading aloud or something like that?
Willa's gonna say no, but they will offer it
Aw,
to you if you
shucks.
want to read it.
No.
You can.
No. It you know, it's nice having people read to you. But if you don't want
I'm
to,
gonna look
obviously.
across at N and wave the book at them.
And stares back. Looks back to the book they're writing in as he's writing.
Willa shakes their head.
You're on your own for this one.
Not happening.
Maybe another time.
Maybe.
Actually,
Yeah. You're busy, En.
yeah.
You've got other things to think about.
Yeah. I've got so much to think about and not think about. The headache is
Yeah.
still there. Right now,
Willa might find.
Anne is writing letters, more letters, and maybe also writing down a recipe from memory.
Huh.
Because that's something they can tap into that doesn't give them a migraine.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
What recipe?
I don't know, you gonna
We'll find
peek?
out later.
Or are you gonna let Anne write the
Yes.
things?
I'm gonna take a sneaky look just to see what N is doing.
Make a stealth check.
Sneaky look. Sneaky. Sneak.
Against Anne's passive
No.
perception.
Wow.
Nope. Lucas so very obviously is like leaning and craning his neck to look at what you're writing.
And leans away and looks directly at him. Are
Gives you like a sorry smile.
You trying to ruin the surprise?
Is it a surprise?
And puts their finger to their lips. And then waves their hand at Luca, like, to shoo him away.
Is it for me?
And's gonna, like, wave their hand to shoo you away, but actually, like, hit you this time. Hit you in the shoulder. The back of their hand, just like, bap, bap.
Ow. You can't do that. I'm injured.
As I heard you got a clean bill of health from the doctor, other than the scar, but I didn't hit the scar.
You don't know that. It could go all the way around.
You showed it
Like
to us.
draws a
Luca.
line.
Well, if you don't want to be smacked, don't look at my secrets.
And I think,
Wait, may I? I think if these two keep squabbling, Willow's going to flip to the start of the book and start reading aloud.
I did it.
That's good,
Mission
because I think
success.
En's joke kind of backfired and punched them in the brain a bit.
No, I know.
No,
That's why
no.
Willow's like, anyway, once long ago in a pirate town in Rio. Willow reads in the most like flat, boring way, I imagine, like in this instance.
Yeah.
It's just very much like the words are reaching my mouth and reaching your ears, something, 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 mysteries abound, like that kind of like
Yeah.
fast read. But it is going to be noise
Okay.
until Willow gets tired and hands the book over to Luca themselves.
I think we close the night on that scene of just
Yeah.
like
Oh.
Noise.
friendly company,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but all kind of doing your own things.
Yeah.
Maybe not super happy, but like not
It's
awful.
content. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's normal. It's regular. It's average.
We're staying sane.
It's as
Yeah.
close to watching TV together after a big traumatic event as we can get.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
We cut to the next day, 4th of May.
Oh.
We follow Audrey and Luca, who head over to meet up with Miss Brina de Madani. And go to try and wrap up the final part of this mystery. You accompany Detective Brina de Madani into the underbelly of the whole of the Port Authority, down to the oubliette. A lightless jail designed to hold convicts awaiting trial, or to be moved to more permanent places. It is cramped and barred many times over. The warden on duty guides you through the dark stone corridors. Which one you want to see first, the Kyber Spawn or the dwarf? Rena turns to you two. Any opinion?
Both will be painful, so
I've gotten plenty out of the Kyber Spawn. You might as well deal with the one who's a bit less talkative.
Wait, so...
Audrey's making a joke but she's talking about talking to Warfred. Basically, I read all of Alonzo's thoughts, so I don't feel like I need to talk to him immediately. We might as well talk to Warfred.
Right. The dwarf, please. Warden nods. You are led over to a cell. You see Warfred Bartosz sitting on his prison cell cot, his hands fully encased in metal gloves meant to immobilize against spellcasting. His head is covered in clean bandages, but his face is still bruised and haggard. He says, "Detective, another unexpected visit. A poor habit to have in polite society, but it's hardly applicable in this place." Rena says, "Mr. Bartosz, I've come in to take your final statement regarding the investigation of the murder of Tara Gelham on the night of the 18th of Dravago, and to guarantee that you have proper legal counsel at your upcoming trial on the 9th. Morford replies with, "Surprisingly charitable. But then again, you're not from around these parts, are you?" "I was raised in Brayland, if that's what you're asking. Might I have the information for your lawyer?" Morford pauses for a beat too long. "Mr. Bartosz?" "Yes?" "The details for your lawyer." "Yes, of course."
What's up?
Yeah.
So,
Good job, us.
seems disoriented. Like it's taking a lot of effort to be present in the moment. He's struggling to focus, which is perhaps not surprising considering the massive head trauma he has endured.
If I may ask, have you had appropriate medical attention?
I think Warford probably ignores the question and just tells Brina the information for his lawyer. She writes it down. Brina gives a sigh and looks up at him again. "Is there any other statement you would like to have on record for the case?" Warford gives a snide, humorless laugh. "There is nothing more to say. I am bested." Rena turns to you, Audrey and Luca. Asks if you have anything else to say.
Audrey looks to Luca.
Luca looks thoughtful. But I don't think anything will come out of it. So.
Yeah. Most of Audrey's questions that she could think to ask at this point feels like they're already in her head. She just has to dig them out. So she doesn't really feel like wasting time talking with a man who's half here.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll just offer a little shrug and a shake of her head to Brina.
"Oh, alright then." Rena turns to the warden and says, "We'll see the other one now." The warden nods. You are led over to the cell that contains the creature formerly known as Alonzo Reedfoot. It sits hunched in shackles, the great bloodied socket of its eye staring blindly out at nothing. "Don't think you'll get much from it," the warden says. Rena makes a noise of discomfort. Has a sentence already been decided?" "It's a monster. No use for trial. Will be put down tomorrow morn. Hasn't made so much as a squeak since it got brought in here." "Right," Rena says.
Any chance of audience?
You want to attend the execution?
If it's
Fine
possible.
by me.
Well, thank you very much.
Audrey will collect the information, the time and place for that.
Yeah. Yep.
A question: does the creature respond at all to Audrey?
Yeah, Audrey's watching it when
there
she
any-
speaks. She doesn't look at other people.
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Can I do a sneaky little inside check too?
30-20.
Fuck off.
37.
Luca, to you it looks unresponsive and doesn't seem to
Actually, I was
react to
checking on
anything.
Audrey. So.
Oh, well,
She seems
Yeah.
normal.
yeah.
Whatever that means.
That being said, Brina tries to ask questions of the Nothic and offers to call legal counsel, but it appears unresponsive. And you can tell that, like, it is deliberately not reacting.
Mm. Do I care enough?
Do you?
Oh, and defined by their lack of caring.
You know what? Fuck it. I couldn't get through the wall yesterday. I'll cast Detect Thoughts. Just the surface thoughts.
Okay.
Audrey rolls the coin by her hip, not breaking eye contact, quote unquote, with the eyeless creature.
Make a sleight of hand check if you're trying to be unnoticed by other people.
I'm not trying to be unnoticed by Brina, necessarily. But I guess I'll do it for the guard. No.
I think Brina spots it and says, my assistant's just trying to ask the question.
Thanks, Brina.
You detect the surface thoughts of the Nothic. And it's eerily quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just hear, "You are not ready for the emissary's wisdom. In due time."
Audrey just kind of scoffs a bit.
Due time.
Oh. So I have potential then.
I'm the chosen host, handpicked by your Sir Beckett. What are you, Nothic? A happy accident?
Goes silent.
That's fine. I don't need you alive to figure you out. See you tomorrow. And I'll back out. And give Rena a little shrug. Like, got nothing.
Yeah, about what I expected.
Mum's word.
Let's head back to the office then.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Lingering gaze on what was once Alonzo as Audrey steps out.
You head back to the Madani office. Brina explains to you guys that it looks like Mr. Bartosh's trial will be on the 9th of Nim, so beginning of next week, and that's when I'll officially call the contract at an end for the two of you.
Audrey nods. Sounds fair. Mm-hmm. We've almost seen the end of this thing.
Yeah. Also, I had a chance to read over what the things you left with Celia the other day. Unfortunately, it looks like Mr. Reedfoot, when he last sent an outgoing message, it was a sending spell, so no chance of intercepting it by the time we got around to it.
Audrey nods a bit, kind of expected that.
The other thing is that we have received word that Mr. Beckett has disavowed all knowledge of Reedfoot being a monster in disguise, especially since apparently the real Alonzo Reedfoot returned with him to Sharn.
Of course. That's what I expected from these people. Oh well. There's more than one way to catch a rat.
I guess so. Well, I'm sorry that we couldn't pursue this lead any further. But at least Mr. Bartosh will see trial for what he's done.
Please, you've done more than enough, Detective.
I'm glad you think so. Thanks for all of your help, both of you.
Well, naturally.
Looks at Luca and doesn't know what to do with that.
Just gives a smile. Like, good job.
Okay. Willow, what are you up to today, if anything new? Or is it more study and research?
I guess more study and research. Mainly to see who... So, did I ask Damon to sort of see if he has any contacts around?
Yeah.
And, like, in time for today was the implication.
Okay. I think, yeah, Damon basically did a sending of, like, hey, is there anybody here that you guys know is an expert of that? Can I get contact details? Sort of like a quick request telegram type thing of, like, anybody know anybody?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
Yeah.
It's good. Would he come to Willow with that information?
Yeah, I think so.
Like a knock on the door? Willow's clearly in their room still, pardon me, writing, researching.
Yeah. Yep. I think, Damon does a quick knock on the door and said, got the address for a Symbiont Scholar over at, I think, Moorgrave in Sharn.
Willow nods. Oh, okay. Is that the nearest, I suppose? That you know?
Nearest that I know. Definitely the expert that I know, at least. Need to come up with a name real quick.
Gravemoor.
Nope.
Gravemoor Hat Man.
Edgar.
No. No more Ed names from Sean. Either way, Willow's it's going to join a list of possible names.
Yeah.
Because Will is also considering that, we're right next to the Moral Holds. Surely there's a symbiont professional there. But there is a difference between Damon has a certain level of trust.
Yeah.
Don't let him hear that. Well, Damon has a certain level of a trusted opinion because his of his field.
Mm-hmm.
Experts tend to know experts. So yeah.
Let's say that it's details for a Professor Alberich. Eversharp.
Nice.
Albrecht Eversharp. Professor Albrecht Eversharp of Moorgrave
Sean.
University.
Yes, Moorgrave?
Moorgrave. M-O-R.
Moorgrave. Moorgrave, Purgrave University. Okay. Yeah, Willow will take that with a nod. Thank you. I'm done with these. I think Willow's done with the books. I think they've learned all they can from my check.
Fair enough.
Yeah, unless I can do another check, but I...
Would you like to? You can do another Arcana check.
If Willow can be of assistance, they will, so...
Yeah.
About the same.
Yeah, you've learned about everything that you can from these books.
Yeah, Willow will grab them back together, see if there's anything else of Damon's in the room to give back to him. Thank you. Again.
Sure thing. Damon's gonna roll a quick insight check again on Willow.
Wow. Look. Yeah, look. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm going to assume you rolled higher than a 1.
Yes, 17. So.
Oh, okay.
What does he see?
Well, today, if you didn't notice yesterday, Willow's a little bit struggling with looking at him directly.
Yeah.
Probably the last time he's noticed them looking at them was just outside of Warford's house. When they kind of stared and then walked away.
Yeah.
But and they look a bit troubled in general and a bit flaggy. They may be considering now going to Brina's to deliver some information, as well as to... I think they're settling on the idea too that these unanswered questions, there are a bunch of unanswered questions, and a lot of them could be answered by Warford, and he's still alive, presumably. Yeah, so there is a solution to this, and it's to go to ask Warford directly for more information before handing it over unfinished to Brina, not to mention the fear of releasing the helm back into the public hands when it is as dangerous as it is. There's just a lot. Anyway, you just clearly Willow's a little bit overclocking and also seems a little bit nervous of the hallway outside, I'll say, on my little dirty one. That there is an energy about them. They want to maybe go out, but I don't know if they are emanating a bit of a nervousness about going anywhere.
Okay. I think as Willow is overclocking, Damon just plops a hand on top of their head and ruffles their ears in a friendly way and says, "Don't fry your brain, kid."
Inside check. First time really looked up at his face, probably.
He's giving sort of a gentle smile, but it's he's trying to be friendly because he's a bit concerned about you.
Oh.
Anyway, it's just a brief tussle.
Yeah. Yeah, anyway,
He says, "Well, if you need me, you know where I am."
Willow nods.
Gives you a wave and heads off across the corridor.
Quick question. Should I be going to Brina's now to ask about seeing certain somebody?
You can do it now or you can do it tomorrow. You can wait for Anne and Luca to come back.
The report back.
Yes.
Yep. Give me another
Because
day.
you know they were going to meet with Brina today and so on.
Yeah. Yep. Give it another day to rest and collect my thoughts. I think once Damon goes back to his room, Will is feeling a little bit more settled, honestly.
Sweetie.
Yeah, they're going to probably go back to their room and just spend the day writing and thinking. They might bring their mind map out again and just kind of like look over all the pieces. Because if they are really planning to talk to Warford again, if that is an option, which will be decided when these guys come home, then they need to be ready. But for now, they're not going to challenge themselves to do much.
Mm-hmm.
Just rest. Don't fry their brain. Kid, as he said.
Mm-hmm.
That man is an uncle.
Oh boy.
Don't tell
So-
anyone else that.
Oh. And then Luca will return home.
Yep. What do you report?
How much are we allowed to report within the confines of the contract?
I think you can report. I think it's not sensitive information that Warfred is in prison and on trial, and technically Alonso is not part of the murder investigation. So I think the details, there's more leeway now.
Yeah.
I think if Audrey asked, Brina would be like, "Yes, you can tell your friend what's happening. They're kind of involved in the case."
Yeah.
now, so.
And Audrey probably would have asked that. So, yeah, Audrey will, and at this point, will fill Willow in that about all the trial stuff, and also that he seemed out of it, like he was struggling to be present, like explain Warford's condition to Willow a little bit, as much as N could gather. And I think they decidedly are not talking about anything regarding Alonso other than his Alonso, quote unquote, his execution is tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can't glean anything. I've had a rough one too, so never mind.
Back at you.
But we are so close, bro.
Hey, an 11 from Luca.
It's the saddest little. Oh man, why do we even bother, team?
Well, I'm inciting Willow, so
Cool. I'm just
11 beats 4.
I'm just checking the
Come on.
AoE.
11 beats 2.
Willow seems a little burdened by this information, and there is a flicker of something on their face when they say that Wolfred is not responsive. Not very responsive.
Okay.
Can't tell you what that is because I don't even think Willow really knows what the reaction is. It's just a sense of, ugh.
Yeah. And it's got a lot of thoughts, but they're keeping those to themselves right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they
So,
decidedly have not told any extra information about Alonso.
did you tell Willow about the execution?
Yeah, because En's going to be attending it tomorrow, and they would tell Willow about that.
Mm-hmm.
And that Alonso was generally unresponsive when they saw him again.
I'll go with you both tomorrow. Not to the... I'd like to speak to Brina.
Right, of course. Yeah, feel free to tag along.
Luca nods.
Cool.
Like, yeah, join us.
In that case, shall we move on to the next day?
Yes.
Man, so time passes so normal when you're not cramming every hour with everything.
Yeah,
Yep.
look at that.
5th of Nim. Early morning. Shall we start with the... Yeah. So, early morning, Audrey, you go to attend the execution.
Yep. What's it like?
Would Audrey be giving off the vibe that they want to go alone?
I think so. They're definitely not giving off the vibe that they want anyone to come with them.
If I asked if they wanted company, what would they say?
Probably just do whatever you want, Luca.
Can I... Wait, let me... So, as a baseline, I'm trying to suss out what Audrey wants. Or N?
Yeah, I think N's going to attend the execution. N face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the
then Luca might know.
vibe?
The vibe is seeing somebody who harmed you die for good.
Yeah, it's a very personal moment, and N doesn't necessarily want to share it.
Yeah.
Okay, I will accompany them to the place,
Building,
but I won't
but
go
not-
in with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Luca
think-
can bring Gil to Brina.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah, Willow's given off that vibe where they could probably use the company more than Audrey for N.
Oh, okay.
The kind of nod of, I wouldn't say they're giving it off overtly, it's just because Audrey set the bar on the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Willow will accept Luca's company and leave N to go on their way, but I think little shoulder pat from Willow. Like
Yeah.
a little nod of, not encouragement, but
Understanding.
yeah,
Acknowledgement.
And gives a little nod
Support.
back.
from a distance.
So,
We'll go.
we see N standing to the side. It's not a hugely public execution or anything there. It is just a sand-filled courtyard at the back of the building of the whole of the Port Authority. Guards standing there. The Nothic is brought out in chains. Head laid on the chopping block, and the executioner with a great sword and a single decisive swing cuts off the head.
Just before he does, as he's raising the sword, and's going to project a little thought into the Nothic's head. It's been fun. See you in the Keeper's grasp, Reedfoot.
The sword comes down. Head topples. The body spasms. Withers. It seems to almost like curl in on itself as if it's being burned.
And
And it's over.
yeah, takes a slow breath. It's really quite surreal. They wanted to see it done because, as they just heard from Brina the other day, it's so easy for these people to weasel their way out of justice. They needed to see this done. Need to see the blade drop and the head roll. And even seeing that, they find themselves tapping at their palm, checking reality again, seeing if this is a dream or if it's real. When their fingers don't pass through their palm, they are willing to accept that this is real. That this Alonzo Reedfoot, in any event, is dead. And it's strangely freeing, like their thoughts are theirs again.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have to be afraid of what they think anymore, and that's not the reality of the situation. Warfred proved that, but it's just the feeling that ends up washing over them, like they've been freed from something in this moment. They just breathe for a little while.
You hear a voice whisper in the back of your head.
One down.
More than 10 to go.
And you leave.
Yep. And we'll
my
return
gosh,
to
she's
the
dead.
others. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Nothic is dead.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Right, executed by Regalport even.
Yep. We cut over to the Dimmadani office, where Gil and Luca are present, and Audrey.
Yep.
Audrey will arrive soon.
That's Audrey on a warpath.
I'm just getting off the warpath, at least for a brief intermission.
For a minute. For a
Yeah.
day.
Yep.
Hey, it's my first time in the Madani office. Proper.
Yep.
Try not to commit too many crimes while we're here.
Is that Luca speaking to me?
Yes.
Willow makes a gesture that they're going to steal like something from the front desk. Can I?
Deal? Is that what you...
Yeah, as a joke while Luca's watching, I'm going to like
No!
like a pot plant or something like.
You pocket a paperweight.
Yeah, exactly. And I look flatly at Luca, like, what are you gonna do about it? Willow brings it out and claps it into your hand.
Luca puts it back and tries to make it look like it was positioned exactly the same.
I hope that someone walks into the room at the moment that you're putting it back so it looks like you stole it.
It probably just looks like you were fiddling with it.
No, like, while it's mid-exchanging hands. Please, Celia or Brina.
Yeah, Celia
Celia,
comes
please.
in with some drinks, basically, like some tea or something like that.
Luca does the
holding
fumble.
a small paperweight.
Places it on the desk, leans on the desk, smiles.
There's a little robotic, like, snicker from
Yeah.
Gil.
Gonna beat your ass.
And then Brina basically opens her office door and is like, you can come in if you like, or are we still waiting for Miss Audrey?
What does Willow want?
Willow doesn't mind either way. We can wait for Audrey.
Up to you
It's not
guys.
really like everyone on board kind of. It's neither here nor there to Willow.
Okay. Okay.
Would Audrey like to be here? I feel like Audrey might take her time, so maybe we can just like.
Yeah.
Audrey's dealing with the execution of one of her many villains.
My hit
so
list.
like, yeah. I think
Audrey's
Willow might
you
just
know
kinda
what?
Get a move on.
Audrey's probably gonna go to the bakery.
Again.
Audrey, like, I'll have another 48 cookies, thank you.
Yeah.
I should get some for the others. 40.
Plus another 12 for the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Willow's gonna give that look of like, no worries, I can do it. Luca doesn't even need to come in if he doesn't want to, especially since this helm attacked him. But yeah.
Alright, he'll come in. Unless Willow seems
Okay.
like they don't want to. But
No,
they
it's
are.
okay. We were both
It's just
Yeah.
there for that.
yeah.
So
Casual conversation. Just yeah. So Brina asks, how can I help you, Gil?
Willow clear their throat and offer their hand.
Nice to formally meet you, I think.
Yes, it has been quite a while. You've kind of been skirting around the periphery. I
Yeah.
was kind of surprised that you didn't want to join up inside the contract, but oh well, to each their own.
Willow nods and kind of skirts past it. I did meet her once. I just remembered after the Dragovich thing, but not formally.
Yeah, Audrey introduced you, but it was kind of a slapdash.
I think I didn't say a word. Yeah.
No, you didn't speak.
No,
so
yeah,
you extremely did not.
yeah. Willow's going to mention
the case of Mr. Bartosz. I do have some more information.
Oh, that'll.
No.
That'll be helpful.
Are you lacking in other evidence?
No, we have plenty, but more can't hurt, as they say.
Yes, well,
long pauses. Willow considers how to say this.
I have his helmet. The source of all of his magic and possibly the murder weapon, as well as that which assailed us.
Willow gestures between them and Luca.
Oh,
possibly, and it currently houses Tarek Elham's eyes.
Oh.
Not over yet, Brina.
She kind of scratches her head and goes, "Where are you keeping it?"
In my pocket.
And you fucking say that. I hate you so much.
She like looks at your clearly unbulged pockets.
Willow's going to continue.
However, it is a very powerful weapon, and it is quite unique in its construction. And given that it is currently housing an organic material, it is likely imperative that we ensure that it is dealt with by professionals. So I have recently consulted Sir Adentego for a contact who is in Shan that I'm sure might be of use. However, if your agency would happen to know anybody else, then by all means, you could contact them. However, considering how sensitive this information is and how untrustworthy, no offense, many experts might be, I would obviously, you know this, be very cautious about who to involve and the priorities.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Would you consider yourself an expert?
No, not in this.
Then, might I ask that I, be able to keep this critical piece of evidence and, honestly, medically valuable thing in a safe? For safe keeping?
Can I see the safe?
Well, there's my office safe, but I was, honestly, if it's as, powerful and dangerous as you were saying, I would probably put it in a Kundrak vault.
Okay. Willow was going to say, like, safes can be broken. It's that's Willow's area of expertise.
Yeah. Yes.
So Willow, actually, they might end up saying, Kundrak, it's still breakable.
That's the bank people. Not that easy. It's like, cool, you would have to invest an exorbitant amount of effort and resources to break into things, and also you would have to know what it is in the first place to know where they're keeping it.
In this
You have
instance,
never-
it seems like
I will say,
a lot of risk for no
Willow,
reward.
you have never successfully broken into a Kundarak vault.
Okay, so that's my baseline, and I probably don't know
Yes.
many people. If I could think of someone off the top of my head that was like, oh yeah, Kundarak, easy. Just that
No,
one-sided
no.
jiggle. You know, the locksmith breaking guy.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Breaks the lock with a little lock guy.
Yeah. No, okay. And then Willow's thinking, okay, all right. Honestly, considering the next question, it might be better to have it out of their hands. It's just they just feel so weird about it.
Luca gives you a little look of encouragement.
Willow will probably concede and end up asking Brina like how she intends to transport it.
Well, likely what I'm going to do is I'm gonna send a message to Captain Frostroot, and considering that she is the person in charge of Mr. Elam's estate, and make arrangements with her to have the helmet transferred to a vault in the Kundarak Bank. If you're still holding on to the helm, we can, of course, involve you in doing that. But probably the sooner the better, honestly.
Yeah, Willow nods. It's that sense of like, I've already got it in my secret astral pocket. I'm probably the best
Once
person
again, I will say, Brina doesn't know that you have astral
No.
pockets.
Yeah. Oh, would that change things?
It would help, probably. Her sense
then-
of... Yeah.
Just
would
for
help her peace of
constitution's
mind.
sake. Yeah. Willow will then probably mention.
Likely best that I keep it on hand as it is safe on me, as far as I'm aware.
Once again, I will say, you have not told her what your pockets are. Please say
I
the
know.
words bag of holding.
No,
This poor woman.
expecting her to follow up with like a question, but yeah, no, that's fair. Willow's I think Willow probably won't tell her, but might pull something out of their pocket that is clearly not meant to be in there.
Okay, Brina needs to make a fucking Arcana check.
Sorry, Bruno. Willow doesn't mean to be like this.
And yet they are.
Yeah. Probably, actually, what she sees is when Willow takes the note. Sorry. When Willow takes the notebook out of their pocket. You know what? Let me do an insight check on Brina, since she seems concerned.
She, like, is clearly concerned. It's like, cool, I have a loaded gun in my pocket.
Oh,
is
well,
kind
okay.
of the thing that you have said.
Yeah. Willow's probably just going to out of nowhere then look at her and add,
It's a bag of holding, by the way.
That, well, that makes things
sorry.
slightly better.
Yes, that's why I was so confident to walk here with it.
Well, that helps it slightly, so at least it's not liable to be as vulnerable.
I do understand your concerns, however. Indeed, they are my concerns as well. I was wondering if I could, now I'm unsure whether before or after, but, well, before I parted with it, I was,
Willow just keeps stumbling for a bit before saying,
I was hoping to speak once more with Mr. Bartosz.
Well, in that case, I definitely want to have the helmet in a vault before you talk with him about it.
yeah, Willow nods, they'll concede to that.
But yeah, I'm sure I can arrange an appointment to go speak with him. vault first, and then you can have his interview. His trial is on the 9th. I don't know if you knew. I've contacted his lawyer since well, I'm sure if you've lived in Regalport for any amount of time, it's kind of up to the defendant to defend themselves.
Millie nods.
So, hey, it's not a huge issue. I just figured it was the right thing to do, that, given everything, he still be, able to access proper legal counsel.
Millie nods in a way that they agree with Brina's idea, even if it is sort of unconventional for this neck of the woods. Yeah. It's an appreciative kind of nod that makes them more convinced that yes, they can trust Brina with the helmet.
Mm-hmm. I guess in that case, I'll make arrangements for that to be transported and get you that interview opportunity. I think at this point, Audrey comes back.
Yep.
With much baked goods.
Yeah, multiple bags.
Spend 3 silver.
Cool.
Never mind.
I'll give it to you. Nope, I'm good. Like, if I rolled a nat one, I'd give it to you, but I did not.
What about a 22?
I'd say that's a good way to describe it. I think a little bit distracted and like a weight is off her shoulders. Like she's not totally present, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. She's just a little dazed, but it's not negative. I think you see a guard that N in all of their personas has kind of kept up has released. There's just something softer about her now.
You're no longer looking over your shoulder every 10 minutes.
Yeah. Aww. Like when she steps through the door, I imagine she's like focusing on opening and closing the door and kind of looks up and notices the people in the room as an afterthought. So that kind of signifies to you, Luca, that she wasn't scared to come into this room. She wasn't scared to walk around.
Oh,
sweet.
Okay.
She wasn't hyper alert about the people around her, expecting the worst.
Yeah. Cool. In that case, details are filled in. Brina sends Peter with a missive to Captain Frostroot. Who needs a courier when you have Pigeon?
Right.
Courier Pigeon. Yeah, I'm gonna say too. Willow's low insight check, I'm gonna say, is N comes in the room like, I'm free, and Willow's got that like, who's that, like shoulder crunch of who's here, you know.
I guess I'll see that.
Yeah, you do see that. They're a bit touchy, a bit nervous about. They know what needs to be done, but they are nervous about the pieces coming together. They have not spoken to Myraldine since the event.
Yep.
Yeah, Audrey might ask
this impending warfare.
Might ask, like, does Gil need to be present for any of these proceedings, or can they just write a...
Well, it depends if they want to hand it over right now or not.
Willa doesn't want to hand over the helm
at all
until it's into the vault right away.
In which case, within a few... in which case, in a few hours, you are... whichever ones of you want to be present for it.
Yeah, I think N's gonna hang back with Brina.
I'll hang with Willow.
Yeah.
We'll hang around. No point going home.
Which is... I was going to ask, who's all going to the bank vault?
Oh. me.
We're cutting. Yeah, like you have to be there. Brina has to be there.
Yeah.
Miraldine is there. It's a question of
go.
are Luca and / Audrey there as well, or not?
Yeah. I'll come along.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I would assume Luca's coming too because he can have his bodyguard time.
Yep.
Hey, how does Luca feel seeing Miraldine again? By the way.
I don't know.
Cool.
Maybe you can figure it out.
I didn't know that you saw her.
Yeah, no one knows. So no one knows to look. So no problemo.
Nope. Luca, make a deception check.
Motherfucker.
That's what you get for your hubris.
Nobody knows me. Can I make persuasion? Or does it have to be perception? Deception.
I think in this
Disgrace.
case, I think it is in this case deception.
Is Miraldine rolling against him?
I don't think Miraldine is paying attention to him necessarily.
Yeah, that's valid, Queen.
And Willow's trying to not pay attention to Miraldine, I think.
I beat it. To beat it.
Yeah.
Luca is tight around Miraldine.
Tight?
Yes.
Tense. Awkward. Quiet.
Okay.
How do you file that away for later?
Mm-hmm.
I'm imagining Miraldine approaching and Willow and Luca are both like they just tighten like their shoulders.
Well,
get tense.
Luca like smiles with his, but it's a very tight, toothy smile.
Audrey smiles normally, pleasant, perky.
We certainly are seeing much of each other and your assistance, Detective. I hear you found the murder weapon, or what is it? Brina says, a powerful magical item that apparently was what allowed Mr. Bartosz to commit the various crimes that he did. Miraldine's like, oh, good. And Brina says, and also, I believe, Mr. Elham's eyes are being...
Honey, you say remains.
kept.
Eyes. Honey.
The remains are somewhere
his
else.
remains are in the hospital.
Yeah, we have to be specific.
Missing remains. Like,
missing remains is so vague. You know, Miraldine would be like, "What remains?" Like,
she seems like
Miraldine has like a catalog of all of Tarek's body bits. She knows which bits are the missing remains.
I hate this.
Is it his glove or his eyeballs? Let me know.
I hate this.
Oh, quick aside to bring us away from this. Willow would have also, in their time, kind of given Brina a write-up on what they've researched they've done on the helm and who to contact and whatnot. And what to look out for.
Yeah, Brina has filed that all into the, like, truly quite hefty manila folder that is this case at this point. Forgot where I was. So
sorry.
Brina explains that Tarek's eyes are being kept alive in this incredibly cursed magical item, and Miraldine is clearly disgusted.
Oh.
Good.
That's the appropriate reaction.
Her voice says, "Oh, well. Let's get that into that vault, shall we?"
Get the napkin.
No, Willow will just follow along. I feel... Brina, please speak for me, because Willow's clearly sort of just standing off to the side. Does Miraldine give any kind of acknowledgement to me specifically? I haven't seen her in a while.
I'll give an insight check. I think like you look familiar to her, but she can't place
okay.
where she recognizes you from.
Cool.
I think at this point she just assumes that you're like one of the assistants that Brina has hired on.
Yeah.
So yeah. Miraldine arrives and basically goes to the Kundarak people, arranges for the extra secure magical lockbox to place the helm within. She has the Kundarak bank system, in particular with vaults, has like specially magically linked keys.
Fun.
So yeah. Let's describe the moment when Willow takes out the helm
Thank you.
again.
Yeah. What's the surroundings like?
A bank.
Yeah, I think you're.
I'm not
you're
opening in the freaking lobby.
No, you're not opening it in the freaking lobby. You have gone
Have you-
down into.
Haven't you been into one of those like bank back rooms before?
I'm asking Zeke to describe it
Oh.
for me. God!
Oh, sorry.
I'm trying to prompt the DM. Carry on, Zeke.
We're in shambles a little
I'm
bit.
stupid. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just want to hear the man talk.
Let him cook.
Okay. Carry on. Please. Sorry. Yeah,
Really?
right.
You have entered into one of the sub-basements of the Kundarak banking establishment with an employee, clearly like a dwarf with the dragon mark of warding. I think she has accepted the key from Miraldine that is to her specific strongbox. Though I think Miraldine is probably... Perhaps we could put this in a separate safe. I'm not sure that I... trust to keep all of my eggs in the same basket. The employee nods and pulls out a new key that is enchanted for a new box that will be linked to Miraldine. And says, "The item, please."
God, I feel like Willow just feels like a spotlight has just been like directly at them at that moment. Moment of truth. Yeah, there's a kind of hesitance. They sort of face away from Miraldine as they bring it out of the opposite pocket. Very gentle with it, gentle-handed again.
Yeah.
And they check it over and then sort of... They're gonna glance at Miraldine first. Probably don't even mean to. Ha! Yes,
Yeah,
lady.
that-
Exactly right.
That makes sense.
That is so correct. Thanks, Dice.
I think you like try and look at her face and just like immediately look down and away as you hand over the...
Yeah.
You hold out the disgusting symbiont helm.
Audrey's watching it exchange hands. This is the closest she's been to it so far.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Gross, right?
If anybody else wants to make an insight check on
I
this,
do.
Yeah.
Give me my extra dice.
Yes! Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, my eyes.
Sheena,
Luca, that
Counselor.
attacked you. But that attacked you, remember? You could be looking at it
Yeah.
as well.
I think,
Not really
you're
paying
not
attention.
looking at Miraldine, you're looking at the helmet and really seeing it up close for the first time, that it's not on somebody's head. it is a sinister piece. Luca, give me a little wisdom saving throw.
Yay.
God. Really?
Oh!
I think you shudder and feel nauseated as you remember what all was done to you.
I think Luca will like take a step back and just put himself out of the way. Make it seem like he's just trying not to intrude, but really he's collecting himself.
You need a moment. The Kundrak Bank employee takes the helm delicately with cotton-gloved hands. And,
So valid, Queen.
This is standard procedure for handling jewelry or expensive items. So.
No, it's just gross.
Do I see anything from Meraldine with my dirty 20?
Yeah, I think... Let's do a little...
Is it
composure check for Meraldine.
Is the helm like fleshy and actively tentacling eyeballs, or is it like
it's
in like a rest? It's in a rest state, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is in a rest state. So it is still, and it just looks nasty. I think.
So she can't see Tarek's eyeballs right now.
She can.
No, she can see that the eyeballs are not telescoping out, but they are there. I think she sees them, and there is a moment of like true horror and despair that passes over Meraldine's face as she stares after the helm.
Yeah, I imagine
Until
Audrey just watching from kind of behind Brina and the others, a bit at a distance, but straight through to Meraldine.
Yeah. Like, she is clearly envisioning what must have happened for this to happen, and thinking about the soliloquy and everything, and she's just like, her face is ashen in despair.
Poor thing.
The helm is taken away and locked up, and Brina breathes a big sigh of relief and is like, well, that's under lock and key now. I guess we can stop worrying about it for the moment. Gil here has been kind enough to write up everything that they've learned about the helm, and I'm pretty sure that'll be more than enough evidence for the upcoming trial. Shall we move on then? She sort of nods to the employee to usher you all out to the elevator. Meraldine picks herself up as best she can and says, yes, well, I appreciate you coming to me with this. Yes. I'll be taking my leave then. Thank you. And, you all part ways.
With Brina too, or?
I think it's Meraldine leaves the group, and you guys are with Brina for the moment.
Meraldine has left the party.
Yes.
I feel like she's gonna go have a cry in the flower garden moment, but hey.
Sometimes you need that. Even girl bosses need to water the flowers sometimes.
That's a euphemism for pooping. An old one.
Meraldine, I think we see a brief shot of like Meraldine walking briskly away into an alley, and then just like the wet sound of her losing her lunch.
Oh,
no, sweetie.
Oh,
Poor thing.
God. Gosh. Yeah, no, that's
That tracks.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an appropriate
That's
response.
So much. Willow's head's been down since basically the moment they gave the helmet over and they knew that Myraldine was watching that.
Yeah.
It was the best course of
I don't
action,
think
but it
this is a
sucks.
thing that you guys hear
No.
or see. It's just
No.
for the
This
audience
is just a
only.
fact. Yeah.
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 This was just a distant fact.
It was bound to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was a rewind, pardon me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor Myraldine. Hey, Audrey, you're not the only one that's upchucked this arc. Congratulations.
I did.
Yeah, now both of you.
Oh yeah.
Girl
Two
boss
girl
teams.
bosses. Yeah, handshake.
Yeah. Don't touch each other.
Yeah. I'm not no, it's fine. We're not touchy feely sorts. But speaking of touchy feely, Audrey might try to catch Breen alone if we're gonna kind of like go home at this point. Or
Yeah.
just trying to catch her before
Yeah.
we head back.
Was Willow planning to the next day to talk? Is that what
I mean, it's up to you.
Willow was saying? As soon as Brina lets me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. For some reason, I thought it was
Well-
tomorrow. Well, that's fine.
In that case, yeah, you can have an evening appointment at
Just
the
keep with it.
in prison.
Yeah, honestly, maybe. I think Willow's
Late
gearing up.
afternoon.
Yeah,
So
Willow was probably gearing up for the idea that could happen this evening.
yeah,
'Cause they kind of spent all yesterday gearing up to it, and they don't want to psych themselves out.
yeah.
But it's on
Okay.
Brina's clock. Like whenever Brina says that it's available for
Mhm.
visit. Yeah.
Can
I think it was just like as soon as we deal with this helmet situation.
Yeah.
we can
So Willow's
get
kind of
that.
just waiting until that moment happens.
Can I accompany Willow, even if I don't like go in? Can I just go with them to make sure that they go safely?
Yeah, as long as Willow just wants to talk to him alone. So whatever
Yeah.
that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, Brina's like, sure, I can give you a slip, to tell the warden. Miss Audrey, will you, accompany your friend here?
Certainly.
She nods. Okay.
Oh,
and
if Audrey's going, maybe I will separate myself.
okay.
Forgot Audrey was
I mean-
going. I'm sorry.
No, Luca can also
yeah,
come.
Luca can also come.
Or you could follow Myraldine. No, she wants to be left alone. Don't talk to her.
Yeah, maybe don't do that.
No,
I don't think Luca wants to be around Meryl.
Yeah,
Streep.
well,
Sorry, I
right
forgot-
now.
I forgot about the other players. No, I was operating off a
Yeah.
different brain. Willow's brain. Willow doesn't know you have beef with problems with Myraldine.
Yep.
You guys coming with me to a Warford appointment? This is just like old times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think because Audrey doesn't want to carry this all the way around, they are going to leave Brina something they got from the bakery for her.
Yeah.
Aw.
Because they don't want to carry it around
Yeah.
all the way there and all the way back.
I'm sure you guys ate some while you were
Yeah.
while you guys were waiting for the appointment with Myraldine and stuff. That took a couple hours of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To make it like even more just like the Wolford appointments, I think Luca will go to a cafe and have something sweet because he feels like he deserves it.
Oh, good.
Are my cookies not enough for you?
No, he needs more. He had like
Yeah.
all of the cookies and now he's like, I need a hot sweet drink and a full set of crepes. Like
Yeah.
You get yourself a late lunch of,
yes.
of hot drink in summertime.
Hot chocolate. Like, yeah.
Okay.
I guess he could have an iced drink. Since I'm
Up to
being
you.
judged by the DM.
Are you dropping Willow off first, or are you
yes,
stopping?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
dropping Willow off.
Audrey's gonna stay at the place.
Yeah.
Outside, but
Gil kind of needs Audrey to accompany
Yes.
them at least down there, and then they can move on. So
I think Audrey's
Okay.
gonna stay. Just
Yeah.
stay outside, guard duty.
Yep.
There are plenty of guards
Okay.
here, but I'm special. I'm chosen. Don't you see, by the tyrants.
anyway,
Luca will tell Audrey where he's going. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
so we once again enter the oubliette under the whole of the Port Authority. You are led to the cell where Warford Bartosz is sitting once again on his cot. Much the same as you saw him yesterday, Audrey. Audrey, give me a quick persuasion check.
Okay.
Nice.
You can persuade the warden on duty to step away for a few minutes
Nice.
to allow Willow to speak in relative privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Audrey will also bow out.
You're just like down the corridor, basically.
Yeah. If anything goes down, I'll be
In earshot.
Yeah.
If for anything more important, let's say.
Yes.
Ugh.
So
Willow's actually got a long moment of standing. Like, what's the setup of the room? Like, is there a position where I can see the cell without approaching it yet?
I think you're like standing at an angle where you're like behind the wall, but you can see into the cell, or at least part of an angle.
Yeah, there's a long. Sorry, there is a long moment when Willow stands there, kind of like unable to take a step towards it.
Yeah. Warford Bartosz is just sort of sitting there, like staring into nothing, kind of spaced out. His hands are fully shackled and enclosed in these metallic gloves.
Okay, Willow's alone in here, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Quick question, are these top to bottom
Bars? Yeah.
Bars?
Yep.
And he's sitting like against one of the walls?
Yeah.
The sidewall?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Willow composes themselves and will remove the mask and kind of like slowly approach. Little clack of their shoes. It's a telltale clack. He would know that by now, but it depends whether he's got the piece of frame of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of step into the light near his cell.
I think he doesn't react to you. He doesn't seem to notice you at the time.
Mr. Bartosz?
His head twitches when you call his name, and he slowly turns and then sees you. His mouth flattens into a sneer. Come to gloat, have we?
What's his vibe?
Hates you.
Hates me. Yeah, that tracks. Clearly. But that was expected. So at least that is rooted in something known and not the absent, horrible look on his face. All of the misery we just absorbed from Miraldine. Or the horrific little helmet. This is a guy. Willow sighs and sits. They're going to sit on the ground in front of the cell. No. Not at all.
I think it is clear that I lost in our last exchange. So you can't be here to renew our wager, can you?
No, I don't think anybody's winning our wager, as it stands. As you said, it isn't a game. No, I suppose I'm here for what I've always been here for. Since starting speaking with you. The truth. You haven't been honest this entire time. No, neither have I. Well, I certainly lied to you less than you to me.
Fine. Which truths do you want?
Suppose we'll start with the imperative. Who are you?
Warfred Bartosz, son of Derfred Bartosz of Solemn Gap.
Willow does like a deep breath, hearing that he is someone's family. So they will sort of look at the ground and then ask, are your family aware of your current position?
I am sure they will be made aware soon enough. Not that it matters.
What does he mean by that?
He does not seem to care much for his family at all.
Okay, that rules one thing out. You have been estranged from them for some time then?
There's a long sort of absence. His attention seems to have lapsed completely.
Was it during this time that you found the helmets? Wilfred?
The helm. Yes. Came into possession of it years ago. Supposed to be mine. I was heir, It was clearly the... He seems to be drifting off again and again.
He said he was heir. Did you say he was
Something
heir?
like... Yes.
Willow will ask, you inherit the helm?
No, my father's mines.
Found it yourself, then? Or a guess, pardon me.
He sort of frowns and, like, sort of tries to rub his head and then flinches away from the bruising. I don't care for anything that idiot gave me.
Which idiot?
He seems to be referring to his father.
Right, okay, then Willow won't ask that. If it was clear that it was his dad.
Yeah.
Then, okay. Oh, boy. Okay. So the helm was given to him by his dad?
Unclear.
That's what it or maybe it was the means to get the... more questions.
Again, it seems like his thoughts are slipping.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
then,
remembering anything is very difficult for him at this moment.
Okay, then Willow will ask instead to skip the how and why, which is a pain. And what convinced you to wear it?
What else do you do with a powerful magical helmet?
Were you aware of what it was capable of when you put it on?
What kind of question is that?
A valid one. I would think.
He scoffs. Doesn't matter how I came into possession of those powers. All it matters is what I did with them, and what I could do with them was expose the falsehoods of the elite, of those petty wealthy who thought themselves too good to be affected by the war too. He sort of spaces out again and mutters unintelligibly to himself.
I believe he said. Willow's thinking to themselves, they're not saying this out loud, but they're musing over the idea that he once said that he aimed to shine a mirror at the ugly truth of it all, and talked about how the treaty was signed in fear and the wealthy elite hiding. Okay, Willow. There's a little pang of understanding of Wolfred that makes the next question come out a little bit more heated. And how did the helmet play into the theater scene in Shan?
So, what?
From where you get that silver pin that you wear on your jacket during special occasions. How does the helm relate to that?
Make an insight check, please. either he's being vague or he didn't hear your question or something like that.
Willow will continue then to try and prompt his memory. They're not sure if he is just sliding off because of all of the mental, the cranial trauma, or if it's he's being secretive. So they'll say, I saw the pin on you at the memorial, though I had my suspicions about you even prior to this, about your involvement with that group. The same one that Alonzo Reedfoot belonged to, and Edmund Beckett.
He, again, furrows his brow and closes his eyes, hangs his head. If you want to ask why I murdered that man, you should just ask it.
That isn't what I'm asking.
And you're simply spouting nonsense to confuse me.
No. What did you do in Shan?
I went to pursue an education in arts, get away from my family, see the world, and just art, just away.
And where did you find your pin? How did you receive that pin?
What pin? He genuinely doesn't know what you're talking about.
Oh! Oh! Okay.
What are you trying to figure out?
The check is this related solely to the physical injury, or is there something in the spell that Alonzo did? Or is it because the helm was on this whole time? I should ask him when he put the helmet on. But he doesn't remember. He kind of dodged that before.
He's being vague about things. But you would suspect that Alonzo removing the helm was specifically to cover the tracks of the cult. That's your best explanation, is that Alonzo saw the fight was hopeless and cut the losses.
Well, clearly, upon realizing that, sort of grip one of the bars and just sink their head down, just so annoyed for a moment. It's the kind of annoyance of, I knew it, and then through grit teeth while their head is down, they say, I waited too long. unless Wolford says anything, there'll be a spell of silence before Willow figures out how to talk again. Unless Wolford wants to say something.
I think we can continue, because otherwise he's going to end up changing the subject.
Willow will then ask, how long were you wearing the helmet?
Years.
How many have you killed with the helmet?
Oh, I would say you would have been the 13th. Yes.
Oh, that sinks on Willow a bit.
I would have hollowed out your skull, found every trembling moment of fear, and used your eyes as a lens through which people could see the world. Alas, we never get what we want. Only that which we deserve.
So, Tarek Elham suspended by his head from the statue of a dragon at an art gallery was what he deserved?
I thought it would make a poetic beat in the story of Ciri's tragedy. Already so many lie out of the side of their face, of their sympathies, and yet do so little to assist.
I don't understand. How does this tie back to your... No, yes, I do understand. Oh.
The most fitting end for that masterpiece would be for its creator's death to enshrine it in the minds of everyone forevermore. All the suffering made manifest with one final cruel stroke. Because that's what this world is. Only cruelty.
I see. And that is why you bestow mercy or legacy in place of life. Is that Willow massages their head. I had assumed you killed Tarek as a way of preserving him. Is this... rather preserve...
You were right to ask me. What is the intent of the display? You were the only one to recognize it for what it was. A statement. My talents are wasted on this world.
There's a moment when Willow's thinking and talking about Tarek that they look like they might break down. They're not going to, but they have to take a moment with their hands under their glasses and just holding onto the bridge of their nose to make sure that they don't succumb to the feeling of, it's not that they don't know what he's doing, it's that it's so hopeless and petty in a way that is delusional and doesn't make sense. That kind of just, they're just trying to pause for a moment to see where they will land in terms of that, because it is kind of everything that they were thinking, in the sense of it's just a symbol, it's just a statement, and in a way all of the angles of the things that they wanted to get back into aren't actually there to pry into, because he doesn't remember how this connects to the larger scheme, or he doesn't know.
I will say, you do know somebody who could try to pry.
Fuck.
All the answers that seem to be slipping away from him, or else don't seem to be there.
Someone's dug up forgotten memories before. Buried.
Yeah. It takes a long freaking time. But Willow's a little bit of an annoyed push off on the floor. They'll, I think you see from Audrey's angle, Willow sort of knock on the door to the place, the open door, just to catch her attention and gesture for her to come.
All right, Audrey will walk in without comment. Enter.
No, we'll meet them in the hallway before you enter. Willow will mention his memory is scrambled.
Oh, well, that is a shame.
He's not responsive to my questions, and what he is saying is only about the current murder and things that we know already.
Oh, am I being called for my special talents.
Willow doesn't say anything, but it's clear that, yeah.
Audrey gives a little, like, head tilt nod.
Oh. Guess I'll get cracking.
She'll give Willow a pat on the shoulder as she passes by.
Willow takes a breath while they're on their own, and then we'll return with Audrey.
Actually, I should... He doesn't have that, +2 to wisdom saving throws anymore.
Yeah, that one with the rest of his scalp, I guess.
Yeah, kind of.
So that would put him just under if you -2 from that.
Yeah. So, cool.
So Audrey will
He
roll
fails
the
his
coin.
wisdom saving throw.
And
Willow stands behind Audrey, just watching both of you.
yeah, she rolls the coin and she closes her eyes. It's kind of a bit of a trance, a calm trance in this case. Very different from a lot of other times. She's read minds. Or N has read minds. Usually frantic or angry.
Yeah. So, surface thoughts that you hear at first are like focusing on the pain. He has a throbbing headache all throughout his skull into like the back of his neck and down his spine. Basically, just like sort of scattered thoughts, scrambling moments, and like strange blank spaces. Willow, do you prompt any specific topics, like the things he couldn't answer?
Yeah, I think Audrey is like simultaneously transferring her information to Willow as she gets it, because she's basically treating this as just an extension of Willow's questioning, so she's not going to keep anything that she learns.
Yeah.
Willow's... How many questions do we get to ask if this is this like a...
I have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh. Willow will ask via Audrey... Fuck.
Should we start with how the helm got into his possession?
Yep.
So, you learn that he came into possession of the helm via an expedition into the realm below, sponsored by his father, who was a wealthy mine owner that profited from selling war materials to the highest bidders, including some under-the-table dealings of strange, exotic weapons recovered from the depths. The expedition was a near disaster, and Warfred Bartosz was one of the few survivors with the hard-won spoils of symbiotic weapons. You sort of see a brief flash of an image of a younger Warfred Bartosz coming to the surface bloodied with his fellows. And having arguments with his father of like, this cannot have been worth it. And his father basically going, stop complaining, and here, take the most expensive piece. This is yours now, since you're being such a crybaby about it. Take a weapon, take a helm. Make your own way in the world. And after the callous reception in the aftermath, Warfred separated himself as much as he could, went to Regalport to study art under Gadarun at the Gilded Brush, and then took time to pursue art in Sharn for longer, and that's where the blank spaces start showing up. You feel that there are full chunks of memory, all Audrey, you can surmise, have been relating to the cult. They have just been cut out violently. There's just great big gaps that you can sort of trace the shape of.
Is there any way I can superimpose anything I got off Alonzo onto these edges?
Make an Arcana check. The DC for this is very high.
Yeah, no doubt.
Can I give advantage?
Sure.
Right. No.
On an 18, I think you can guess that he probably at a party or something met somebody who had a silver pin and then was invited to a showing or something like that, but you can't tell any more than that.
All right. Yeah, I'll siphon that information to Willow as I get it.
Was it clear at this time whether he was wearing the helmet? Already?
He has been wearing the helmet since he put it on, which was back in the Moor Holds. I want to say.
So he put it on before he came to Gadroon?
Yeah.
At all?
Yeah. Because he couldn't take it off.
No, I know. So wait, did he put it on during the expedition, or Gadroon?
No,
his dad gave it to him.
His dad. Yeah, his dad basically like, here, take this. This is your prize for surviving. And after that sort of incident, there was a more extensive falling out where Warfred basically estranged himself from his family and went to pursue art instead of following into the business of his father's mine and war profiteering.
And in that pursuit, already he is wearing the helmet.
Yeah.
And he didn't answer. And the answer he had for why was just, why wouldn't you? I believe. Yeah. Was it something like that?
Yeah, it was basically which is exactly kind of the whole situation. The long answer of that is that he was basically forced into it by his father's sort of own arrogance of like, well, this is a powerful weapon, go use it. This is a cool magic item, why wouldn't you use it? And Warfred being basically like the equivalent of a young adult at the time didn't have the wherewithal to refuse.
Like he wasn't smart enough to refuse, or he wasn't in a situation where he would think to refuse?
It's complicated. It's kind of a peer pressure situation where it's like, if he had thought about it more, he could have probably refused. But it's the sort of like caving that you do to an authority figure where it's like, fine, I'll do this just to get you off my back because this is not helping and I don't have the stamina to continue this argument.
Willow will ask Audrey to guide the thoughts to when he met Alonzo.
Audrey will try.
I think again there's big chunks missing. I think you only get what would be public knowledge of Edmund Beckett is a renowned art collector and his butler Alonzo Reedfoot does a lot of the intermediary dealings, and Warford wanted to impress him. And any deeper meaning behind that is voided.
Gone. He removed himself completely.
Just fully excised.
I feel like there is, upon receiving that blank space, there is a more heated question from Willow of who else? the other 13, the other 12. Sorry, the other 10.
So, Tarek Elham, Kay Kelson. Kelson was also an artist, a war veteran who basically Warford ran into, and then here's the fun thing. Warford didn't even know that Kelson painted the anonymous painting.
Of course he didn't. Dumbass.
Yeah. He just ended up providing Kelson with Dream Lily, because that was apparently a thing that Warfred had picked up over the years. Not necessarily in Sharn, but probably in Regalport while he was like first studying art. Because the helmet was actually quite painful even while he was wearing it. Nobody would miss Kelson, so Warfred took his eyes. Drank down his suffering. Other people, there was maybe a hapless drunkard, a rival, all people living on sort of the margins of existence. Tarek was the only one that was a prominent display. And, well, that went quite badly for him, huh?
Willow's thoughts go next to when he met, like, just when did he meet Tarek? When did he decide Tarek? Was it at the showing of the Folly?
Yeah.
The first time?
Yeah. Warford went to see the Folly of the Four Sons and became obsessed. Introduced himself as a painter. When Meraldine Frostroots suggested that Tarek get his portrait done, Warford was eager to take on the assignment and wanted to cultivate that relationship. I will say, give me an insight check with advantage because you're literally reading his mind.
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
The reason why Warfred became so obsessed with suffering is because much of the suffering that he had endured himself had been deeply invalidated, and if not outright, like, said, that's not really suffering.
Yep.
The people that died on the expedition, well, you weren't friends with them or anything. You were there just as, like, daddy's favorite. The pain of the helmet, it's a huge boon. You're rich, you have a free ride. What are you complaining about? So he sought out people whose suffering was real, whose suffering was true, and tried to absorb it to feel some sort of release.
I think Willow asks now, like, kind of like prompted by that thought, and not fully thinking, they'll walk back to the cell and ask him, so then why so upset with me?
You are so irritating. All the suffering you experienced and no reaction. Nothing. You treat it as if you're an observer. You have every reason to claim sympathy for your suffering, and then you just hide it hoard it. Do nothing with it.
As you did?
I feed on it.
Your own?
I feed on it because I cannot feel it.
Hmm.
It is this massive cognitive dissonance, this internalized delusion. Twisted by the malice of the helmet that has made him into what he is now. He could have chosen to seek help. He could have chosen to do other things. But he didn't.
I think that thought completes with Willow, like... They've got both hands on the bars now, and they're probably going to slide back down to sort of like just a kneel or a squat next to the bars. They're closer to him than they were sitting before. Just like looking at him. And they'll say, and now it's too late. This entire
And make a wisdom saving throw.
Me?
Yes.
Okay.
You're the one casting detect thoughts.
I am.
You can feel Warford try to push to put more memories in your hands. Basically, instead of you picking what to choose, like what to look at, he's trying to force thoughts into you, like trying to reverse the flow on this, but you cut the connection before he can do it. So instead, Warfred makes a noise like he's in pain and says, and then I was going to deal with that traitoress. But I suppose it's more poetic, isn't it, if the follies of Regalport come to haunt itself, isn't it? You may have stopped me, but the rot was there before I even pointed at it. I hope they kill me. I hope my blood sprays the walls, and that the stains never come out.
They will. She will.
Warfred sort of chuckles darkly to himself, and you don't get any more from him.
I was gonna stand and have one kind of last look at him, sort of glance at Audrey. How's Audrey?
Audrey's standing there very impassive. She doesn't have a smile on her face. It's very blank. expression, observing and at attention, but keeping quiet, as if she's not even really here. She's acting more as a conduit, as a tool for you to get your answers. She's become an impartial observer, emotionless.
I think Willow sort of gestures to you in a way that you can, like, we're going to leave, but Willow doesn't quite leave yet.
Audrey will bow her head a bit and go to wait by the doorway.
Willow's giving him such a hard look of just, like, searching for the person there and answers where they probably won't find them. Can't find them. But I do think they might say something to him before they leave.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least speak out loud in his presence, because this feels like the last time they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Well, if it's any consolation to him, if he's looking at all, Willow looks more upset now than they have this whole time, but don't know if he's got the wherewithal to see that.
I think he's looking at you. Like a hard Kubrick stare. As he watches you. They had so many things in mind to say about, like, the larger scheme that he's involved in, but there's just nothing to gain from that at all. Why tell someone whose memories are half gone, by the way, you were getting swindled by Edwin fucking Beckett, because it doesn't mean anything to him right now. I think we're just going to muse out loud to him bits and pieces of their thought process, starting with, there are immutable facts in all of this. And questions I have to ask myself, questions you're now forcing me to leave with, of wondering if there was ever a chance for you. Of course there was, I have to believe that, and if so, when? At what point were you doomed to arrive at this conclusion? Was it when you put on the helmet? Or maybe it was earlier than that, when you put on the rings, born into your situation. We are all victims of our circumstance, and you are no different. But what if you had someone nearby, a friend, family member that actually loved you, to pull you back? If anyone had been able to get through to you, then could it have saved their lives? Could it have saved yours? Stands back a little, now holding onto the bars. You weep for me? You won't even weep for yourself, and yet you weep for me.
Willow shrugs. You're part of my story now. So I suppose I must.
Your arrogance truly does know no bounds.
Goodbye, Mr. Bartosz.
He just chuckles to himself as you leave.
Willow leaves fast, bypasses Audrey, and just like power walks out of there.
Audrey's just gonna follow behind you. At pace. Quiet like a shadow.
Wait, hold on.
Probably struggling to read Willow. Willow's going through a lot of emotions, and Audrey's recovering from delving into Warfred's mind, so by her best efforts, she will just follow Willow.
I think we will now cut forward in time to the day of the trial.
Yeah.
Warfred Bartosz is put on trial for 2 counts of murder, conspiracy to commit murder, multiple accounts of assault with a deadly weapon, abduction, a terror attack, impersonation, and obstruction of justice. The evidence against him is great, even greater with what you all provide in testimony, written or otherwise. And it seems that the defense has little recourse in his case. But then it comes to the subject of the Symbiont Helm, and that is their angle. The defense attorney pleads that Mr. Bartosz was not in his right mind, especially after being so thoroughly poisoned by the Symbiont for years that drove him to insanity. And of course there must be justice done for the transgressions, but capital punishment is too cruel a sentence for someone who was clearly the victim of circumstance. It goes back and forth, and in the end the sentence is far more forgiving than anyone would expect. Warfred Bartosz is sentenced to 100 years in Dreadhold, and the majority of his estate is to be liquidated and forfeited to the plaintiffs for a grand sum of 10,000 gold pieces to be dispersed by the court.
100 years.
He's a dwarf.
Yeah.
He's already 70 years old.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's a lifetime for a human.
Like 300 years old, so
yeah. So it's
like 10 years.
20 years.
10, 20 years, yeah.
Oh god.
Okay.
For murder.
To say the least.
Multiple murders.
Yep. In the end, the court adjourns. Captain Frostroot seems a little disappointed that it wasn't a life sentence, or worse. But she is pleased enough with being given a tidy profit for her troubles. 10,000 gold, even a portion of 10,000 gold, awarded to the estate of Tarek Elham is more than enough to cover her costs for the resurrection. And possibly even enough to hire a specialist. To hire a team of specialists to retrieve Tarek's eyes from the Symbiont Helm. And Warfred Bartosz will not see freedom as long as she lives, at the very least. And, well, what more can you ask for in this lifetime? What are you all doing as the trial wraps up?
Squinting at the camera is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for
Audrey's watching Meraldine. I think Audrey's thinking some things after what Warford said, and just in general, this end of the case, considering N just had a, particular experience with revenge. They're watching Meraldine. I didn't know Willow was here. I thought Willow was not going to be here.
No, I'm here.
Willow is just observing.
I've been very quiet, not saying anything, but they are looking hard at Meraldine as soon as that resolution comes about.
Yeah.
What does Warford look like when his sentence is read out?
I'm struggling to find words that aren't just like shit.
Valid. Okay.
He seems to have been thoroughly humbled, and his defense is quite passionate in his case, even if he is not.
Okay. Well, they did a good job, didn't they?
They sure did. He had a good lawyer, even if he never intended to use one.
Fucking Phoenix Wright looking ass.
How's Meraldine?
Yeah, tell us about.
Like, what is her vibe?
Her vibe is,
Ooh.
Whoa.
mixed. A little bit frustrated at the outcome, but more satisfied with the awarding of money and, like, what good news she does have. It's a lot of mixed emotions. I think at this point, like, she knows Warfred is going to Dreadhold, which is plenty of punishment. And she can deal with that later. She has 100 years to deal with that later.
Is she a human or an elf? I'm just realizing her ears are hidden.
Meraldine is a human. Meraldine is fully human. So
yeah, okay.
But, it's the kind of thing, like, if she wants to seek out more reparations,
yeah,
she has possibility for that later.
There is time.
Yeah. Just because he's not dead now doesn't mean that he can't be dead later, but I think she's like, okay, it's a life sentence for me.
That's fair. You know what?
Well, for
It's like,
as long as
I will be dead
live-
before he gets out. If he gets out. Sort of thing. And she is more, like, I think after the trial, she is more, like, talking to accountants and stuff and being like, okay, what can we allot? Who can we contact? She is doing her girl boss thing of, like, okay, murderer has been caught. Let's deal with that resurrection and all that medical expense that is going forward. And also my loans and so on.
Loans no longer needed. Yay.
Maybe.
Hopefully.
So, how are Audrey, Luca, and Gil looking at the end of the trial?
I think Audrey just looks very neutral, very normal. Letting things play out. Is Brina here?
Yeah, Brina was here. Brina was one of the people providing testimony.
Yeah. How is Brina looking?
Tired, but satisfied.
Well,
in the sense of, like, as far as it goes, like, well, there wasn't a full-on execution, which I guess is always good.
Oh.
She is the one who made sure that Warfred's lawyer was here in the first place.
Yeah. and doesn't have a vendetta against this guy, so they're not going to make any moves at this point. They're just going to let things play out. They have bigger fish to fry, but it's certainly rolling in the back of their brain that, light sentence. This is why we don't go through the system for people that aren't Nothics. But that shows on their face. They're just sitting calm and normal, watching things play out.
Willow? What's going on in your mind?
Yeah, what is going on in my mind? How's Wolford taken away?
Anne has such a headache over these past few days. All of Anne's bad insight is that Anne's just migraine has continued since that night with...
Yeah, it's been on and off and on and off and on and off again.
Every time they try to look at everyone, it's just pain. Anyway.
Like, I can't think about this.
Literally ends and otherwise.
Yep.
Yeah, what's Wolford look like when he goes?
Shit.
Quiet.
Quiet?
He didn't get what he wanted.
He didn't. No, he didn't. He wanted to die and paint the walls.
Yep.
And such. Okay,
he wanted to go out with a bang. Meraldine is, like, outside. I imagine that, like, Wolford got taken away by the bailiffs and stuff earlier.
May I?
I don't think you're allowed to follow him, hun.
No. I said goodbye, Mr. Bartosz. That's done.
Does not get to see this face.
May I appear in front of Meraldine?
Yeah, you can try and approach Meraldine.
But how is Willow feeling first?
They don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. What's Meraldine look like if I just sort of approach her? But standing around awkwardly near her, like...
I think she, like, sort of sees you there, deals more with her own business, and if you aren't going to intrude, it might be a long while yet before you actually get her personal attention.
They might raise their hand then after a time. They've just been watching her. I imagine she has, like, her polite business lady smile on.
Yes.
They're going to sort of raise a hand to, like, call her attention.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully they are remembered as the helm person.
Yes, how can I help you?
I'm going to do another... Well, I already insight checked her from a distance, didn't I?
Yeah.
And she is satisfied. Disappointed a little, but it's satisfied.
Yeah, there's a lot of mixed emotions, but she's more like, okay, on to the next thing now. This is dealt with. This is done. I can focus my attention on the things that really matter.
I feel like for a long, awkward pause, Willow kind of just stares at her and then tilts their head.
What is it, darling? Please spit it out. I don't have all day.
I expected you to kill him.
She shrugs. I could request a duel, but, that would be bad for my reputation. Besides, I have his money, and that's really what matters most to me.
Willow just... This is washing over Willow as like a lot of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
After like another prolonged silence, Willow will say,
Huh. I was misguided.
Mildine arches an eyebrow at you.
Willow nods and then tip their hat.
Congratulations, Captain.
And leave.
Thank you, darling. Now, where was I? Just continues on.
Willow's gonna walk to the docks.
They seem like they want to be alone.
They don't seem like anything you can follow. You cannot.
I think have the team follow.
Yeah.
What you doing at the docks, buddy?
Just walking. I think Willow's walking to the sea, to the part of Regalport they've been avoiding this whole time, and sort of on their way there, I think they're going to remove their mask and take like
fresh
a big
sea breeze.
gulp of air.
Hits your face. The murder mystery is resolved.
Everything, much of it went according to plan. And the one thing Willow is actually actively saying, "Oh, I was wrong," about is how it would end. And I think they're just like thinking that while they look out at the ocean, like they misjudged everything else they could comprehend. That part is what stunned them, has left them a bit like, "Oh, I assumed this would end in an execution, actually. And I was wrong." And that's good. Bad. Quit. It's new.
It is.
It's new.
It is.
It's new.
It's new. I think Willow's just kind of confused and standing at the docks. Yeah.
Yeah. Anna and Luca come up behind you.
Yeah, Anne's gonna put a hand on Willow's shoulder and kind of come to stand beside them and stare out at the water.
I don't think Luca gets too close. I think he's thinking stuff on his own as well.
Anne looks back at you and gestures for you to join them.
Okay.
Yeah. Anne's not letting you
Thank you,
linger
Captain.
back there. Get over here. We're watching the sea. Get in, we're watching the sea, asshole.
Willow does watch the sea. They also chuck a big cursory look up at the sky. Not cursory, just a long look around at Regalport. They've been avoiding this dock for years.
Mm-hmm.
And they haven't appeared here with their mask off for years either.
Is it going to rain?
Let's find out.
I was asking Willow.
DM
We
needs
still
to
have
know.
to wait for the DM to find out.
That's okay, valid.
It's windy. Might get a storm later in the evening, but those clouds are still far off.
Luca asked me if it's going to rain.
Yes.
Willow will answer, not yet.
So you can stay out here a while, if you like.
Willow gives him a side look of like, what?
I don't know how else I would describe that.
No, Willow's just, when you're already standing poignantly at the edge of the ocean and someone's like, you can stand here poignantly at the edge of the ocean. Willow's like, yeah? Evidently, like...
Well, that was... Luca didn't know that's what you were going to do.
No, but Willow just gives you that side look of like, why are you narrating? Like, why are you giving me permission to do what I'm presently doing? But Luca like snaps the moment, and Willow looks at him with like a perplexed look of, okay, thank you, sir.
And smirking at the two of you from the side. Just watching this go down.
Willow feels awkward now because it's like, oh, look, we're all standing here being all like, end credits, stop it. Willow's like, anyway. Well, that ended.
Does Willow have the Cognate hat with them?
Yeah, it's probably in their hands.
Can N take it from you?
Yeah.
Can I try and do a trick with it? I want to try and toss it and put it on my head. Catch it and put it on my head.
I thought you were going to toss it into the ocean.
Bye. You don't need this anymore.
Oh no.
you try and roll it, and then it does fully fall off the pier.
Wait, I'll get it.
No, just...
Luca was joking. I hope that was clear.
Whoops. Yeah. Guess I need more practice.
It's very windy.
Your own hats, Willow says. I was gonna leave.
And follows.
Jams their hands in their pockets and leaves.
Hey, Willow.
Yes.
Luca squatting at the edge of the dock with his sword, trying to get the hat.
Stop it! Willow, stop it!
While you two have a moment.
No, we're not that far apart. Willow stopped to look at Ed. Yes?
Thanks. Thank you. And it's gonna keep walking.
Willow looks after you, but you're already moving. They'll probably go back to collect Luca.
En's not gonna leave the two of you. If En's expecting you to follow.
Like, yeah, no, I am. I'm just gonna get Luca first before you get abducted again.
I don't think you're supposed to make jokes about that.
Oh, Willow's gonna start leaving again. Like, hurry up! Leave the hat.
Do I get the hat?
Make a dexterity check.
Hell yeah.
Stab it through the...
Nope. What you succeed in doing is, like, you try and fish it out, but instead you just, like, push it deeper onto the water, and the hat is fully soaked, and now it sinks.
Aww.
Ah, shucks. Yeah, no.
I'll buy them a new one.
I can't believe you just tossed my hat into the water.
That wasn't what I was trying to do. It went horribly wrong.
But...
The hat blew out of En's hands and fell into the ocean.
Yes, I know, but like, I just can't believe that happened. That's how we're ending this murder mystery.
Yeah, right.
Drop my hat in the sea.
You don't need it anymore. You don't have to wear your uniform.
I still like hats.
I'm trying to make it meaningful.
I know. But Willow is still inside, like, oh, well, damn, that's annoying. That was my favorite hat. One of my favorite hats. I think the Cognate hat is probably more of a favorite hat. And then the brown hat. And Willow's just musing about hats now, so that's nice.
What is the closing sentiment as we wrap up this murder mystery? Who wants to pitch a scene to close
Don't
on?
let a bitch fucking borrow your hat is the closing sentiment.
I want to fix the hat situation and actually feels bad about losing Willow's hat and wants to fix it,
Anybody have mage hand? Anybody want to get in the water? Because it's literally just like...
Wait, what spells do I have?
I don't.
Let me quickly check.
Oh, if everyone's gonna pause in terms of the hat retrieval, and anyone feels bad, are you guys feeling bad? Is this going to become a thing?
En's gonna go in the water.
No.
Can they not just stretch their arm really long?
No, that's not how it works.
Literally, Willow's gonna dive into the water.
En doesn't want you to go.
Willow's gone already.
My God. Too late. Willow just like, as you're having this like fake meaningful moment, you are overcome with the absurdity of the situation. Willow steps back, does a little run up, jumps into the water, retrieves their hat, comes back onto the dock and like shakes themselves like the dog they are.
And cheers and claps their hands.
Willow slaps the wet hat on your head.
And that just makes En laugh even louder. And they push like the brim up a little bit. So they're like kind of laughing at the sky.
Luca, you have gotten drenched in the spray.
Of course.
It's nice. It's a warm summer's day.
Yeah. Mine now. En is gonna take the wet hat and start walking.
I really don't understand this situation.
Me neither.
We have something in common.
Fine. Sure. Well, to being clueless, I suppose, Willow says flatly while looking at Luca with like a fake out toast.
We don't have any drinks.
Drinks on me!
God.
Come on!
Oh my God.
Last one home's a drowned sailor.
You can finally go back to salvage now. Case is closed.
We could, but I don't just leave Damon there. Like,
I'm sure you said your goodbyes earlier.
no, we wouldn't have. We're not saying a flat little goodbye without Diggity Damon.
Besides, we have to get information from him about when we're going to be meeting up next.
There'll be time for that later.
Yeah, no, that's not going to happen now, but such a weird ending.
Anybody want to pitch me an alternate ending?
Can En go see Brina in the dead of night?
Sure.
Oh, we're going all the way there.
No, En's not bringing you. En wants to be alone.
Oh,
I think,
well,
okay. I
say
think you guys will, okay. Pitch yours, Mim.
Oh no, I was just going to add to that like if En's going to go later, I feel like we spend the rest of our day probably like just doing casual things and also clearing up our hotel room and stuff.
Yeah.
Because I don't imagine that we were going to say like, okay, trials today, we'll plan to leave at nighttime. It really depended what happened at the trial. So we can go back and sort of take our time fixing up the room.
So it's like we'll check out tomorrow and
yeah, maybe have some sort of dinner at the hotel, like nothing too extensive, just order in and chat and unpack a little bit about nothing.
Yeah.
Talk about hats and such. And then, I mean, we're going to want to sleep too. So, like, if En... just imagining casual, decent times until En goes. Whenever.
Yeah. Luca, you want to pitch anything? Do you want to write a letter to Seeker also saying that, like, we'll be home soon?
No, I think I'll surprise her when we come home.
Oh, okay.
I think that would be nice.
Good. Yeah. Cool. In that case, later that evening, and you are able to take time out to go visit Brina. Have that aside.
Yeah. I think when En shows up, they're En, not Audrey.
Mm-hmm. Hello again.
Good evening, Detective.
And kind of makes their way in. I feel like they probably brought something else.
Yeah.
Probably more food, because they don't... Maybe something for Peter, too. You know, birdseed, something... A midnight snack for Brina.
Birdseed and a bagel.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Just a giant worm.
I think I've had enough of rolling around in the dirt. And the water.
So, yeah, you sit down with Brina, have a snack.
Yeah.
Late night.
Yeah.
She waits for you to say your piece.
This is kind of awkward. I'm not very good at this touchy-feely crap. I guess I just wanted to say thank you. I don't really know how to express what everything you've done has meant to me.
Oh, that's all right. Just doing my duty. And hey, you make a pretty good assistant.
Oh, for what it's worth, I think you'll make an excellent mentor to other foundlings.
Oh, here's hoping.
Fingers crossed.
Sure I can't persuade you to hire you on permanently?
No. Oh, I think I have some big fish to fry before I can think about settling down in one place.
Ah, well. Don't be a stranger, alright?
Oh, no. From this point on, En's gonna hold up their hand and make a little mark similar to what Brina has appear on her hand.
Mm-hmm.
I am an honorary foundling at the Regalport Warning Guild. And En closes their fist. I promise never to do that again.
Yeah, I don't think you'd pass muster, but hey, pretty cool trick.
Thanks.
Brina offers her hand
Yeah, and
to shake.
Shake it. Thanks, Brina. You've
Well,
helped save a victim of that theater.
it was a pleasure working with you, Miss Audrey.
Let me treat you later.
Sounds good to me.
And smiles.
Gotta spend that paycheck on something.
Oh, you know it. And then rubs their fingers together like money.